as per the first time. Yeah. Okay, we might be live. Emma done the para for Twitter. Say he say we dey try rig something. Oh yeah. So we're on Twitter now. Nice. So we're streaming live now. Who are these guys? Where's Muiwa? Oh, it be like say Muiwa talk say.
I'm I'm here. Just hold on, please.
No, not even you. I was talking about the other Muiwa. He was talking about
I did.
Baba Alpha now.
I did.
You don't ready?
Shoot.
Where your shayo? You don't carry your shayo come.
Yeah.
All right then. Okay. Thank you guys. First of all, wanted to thank you guys for coming, for showing up to our first series of ARTV's head to head. So welcome Muiwa and Muiwa. So the very first one, we we're honored to have you on this show. The namesakes who appear to be on opposite sides of the Mikel Arteta divide in terms of how you feel about the manager. So ground rules, right? We just quickly go through the ground rules, which is respect, don't talk about one another or each other, however you want to call it, and make sure you are giving us facts. Right? I don't want anybody to don't come and be making up anything, because as they talk like this, we get people who go the fact check. You understand? And everything's going to be going in the comment section. So make sure you are giving us facts. Make sure that and just let's have fun with the conversation, right? So let's not we're not fighting here. You understand? I know say Muiwa. Actually, both of you now get militant energy from your body, so you understand. But so let's keep it fun. And so those are the ground rules, right? And then we'll go into the topic, right? So the topic I have for you guys is about Mikel Arteta, and I think my question is really coming from some of the conversations I've been seeing on Twitter recently in terms of Mikel Arteta being in line to get a new contract, and also conversations around, has he really improved Arsenal? Does he really deserve a new contract? And should we give him time? So I'm gonna go to the first Muiwa, the violent one, before I go to the second Muiwa, who's the fraudulent one, right? So the second.
Hold on. We need to clarify. Who among us is the violent one? Who is the fraudulent
You
one?
know.
You are the fraudulent one. He is the violent one. So I mean, if that's just I would really like the fraudulent Muiwa to come on video, but I don't know if your video is working or not. But if that's not possible, I guess we'll just manage the audio.
Yeah, I won't be able to come on. It's a bit dark where I am, and
Okay.
it's the video is basically at this point. So.
All right. So no video for the fraudulent Muiwa, and violent Muiwa is here. So okay. So first question, Muiwa, the first Muiwa. Do you think Mikel Arteta deserves more time in this job? Just a simple yes or no question answer would be good for now.
Yes, at this time, I think so. I think he deserves more time
Okay.
on the job for numerous reasons. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll get into the reasons. Don't
Keeping
worry.
it short. Yes, I think so.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so the fraudulent Muiwa, do you think Mikel deserves more time in this job? Yes or no? Simple question.
I think Muyiwa Nijagonas would be okay. I'm not fraudulent in Jesus' name.
Okay. All right. So yes or no? Does it more time in the job for you?
It's a bit tricky to answer that. I
want a straight answer. Yes or no?
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. But let's just go on. I'm a bit divided, so I'm not going to give you.
The fraudulence has already begun. Simple question. Just say yes or no. The hell, man?
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Baba, give me one.
Yes.
So yes and no. Okay, fine. Okay. So I'll go back to to Muiwa. Muiwa, I want you to give me like a quick 2-minute summary of why you if you are just act like you are a defense lawyer and you're in court and you want to defend Mikel Arteta. Like, give me like a 2-minute summary of why you think he deserves to remain in the job and to be given more time. So give me like 2 minutes of your just a quick 2-minute defense of our manager.
Yeah.
Go for
thank
it.
you. Thanks for the opportunities to speak on this platform. Yeah. But then going into it, I think if we are being, if we want to put emotions aside and trying to be a bit logical, to a certain degree.
Yep.
I think there's evidence to suggest that although we haven't had a good season by our standards, and there's we still have more to play for this season. So because of these reasons, I believe that Arteta deserves more time on the job to be able to bring his ideas into full display. And one of the reasons why I say so is because if you compare the results that we've had at the start of the season compared to what we have now, there's been progress. Whether you want to admit it, whether people want to admit that or not, it's a different case, but that is fact. You can check the league table at the turn of the year and compare it to what we had up till December. There's been a massive difference. Although we'll still be in the Europa League places, but then there's been a difference in terms of goals scored. We now score more goals than what we had previously, conceded less. So when you compare all these things, I think I don't want to go into more details now. I just want to keep it succinct.
Don't worry.
So
we'll have time for details. Don't worry.
For this and many more reasons, I believe that Arteta has something up his sleeves. I think we should give him more time.
Okay, that's fair. All right. My other Muiwa that said yes and no. Are you there?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you.
So give me
like I said,
give me a 1 minute summary of why you said yes and 1 minute of why you said no.
Of course, like I said, it's obvious that we had a rookie manager. When he signed, he took over from Emery, who did a not too impressive job, I must say. And with the victory that we had in the FA Cup and the shield that we won, we're optimistic. I think we had what's it called? We had a feel of what we could expect from the coach. So based on that, I think yes, we could ask for little time, for little time. Then the other part is what we've seen this season. the shambles that this manager has overseen. For a club like ours,
Yeah.
playing how many games, 27 games, and losing 11 is not fair. It's not what's it called? I'm looking for the right word to use now. It's not what you should see at a club like at a club like Arsenal. Even teams that are not as big as us, also wouldn't take that kind of result. Play 27, lose 11. At a point we are at the bottom of every metric that you could ever think of. We're not scoring goals. The attestates would argue that he has improved the defense, but still we are still shipping in goals. So based on that, you could say, well, someone that has done this doesn't deserve a second chance, and you would be right too. So that's where I am at the moment. I am neither here nor there, depending on
You're
what
neither here nor there. Okay.
just hear me out. Hear me out.
Uh-huh.
Uh, depending on whatever presents itself, really, you could argue that, okay, this person has given us a shield and the FA Cup in the first half season that he spent with us. So with that you could say, okay, let's give him time and let's see. But if you look at what we've gone through this season before December, I don't know how you could argue that someone that has presided over such a shambolic front deserves another chance. So it's there for us to see. So I'm just going to leave it at that for now.
I think for me, I'm going to go on your behalf to answer the question and say that your answer is a no.
You can't decide for me.
That's my. I'm going to make that decision for you. Anyway, so now that we've gone into sort of the, you guys have given us your little 2 minute summary of why you think Mikel Arteta deserves to stay in the job, or why he on Muwa, the other Muwa's part, why he doesn't deserve to remain in this job. I think we should quickly go into like when he joined Arsenal, right? He joined Arsenal as a coach on the 20th of December 2019, which was a year and 3 months ago, right? So 1 year, he's been in this job now for 1 year, and 3 months, right? So we're still in his first full season as what do you call it? Not head coach now, right? Manager of Arsenal Football Club, right? And so came in December, won the FA Cup at the end of the first season. Things were looking up, right? So I think we should kind of let's go through some of the sequence of events, right? And um, I think why that is important is probably so that you can tell us um, some of the things that we've seen, in either whether it's the performances, whether it's the achievements, or some of the decisions that he has made that gives you, optimism or, pessimism in terms of why you think he deserves to stay as manager. So, do you want me to go through some of the maybe highs and lows, or are there some of the things that, so Muiwa, on your part, I'll be looking for you to sort of give us some of the highs, where you can say, yes, this is why he deserves to be in the job. And for the other Muiwa, obviously, I'll be looking for him to push his agenda on the other side of maybe the lows. So
We got that day plenty.
yeah, so,
The
so Muiwa, I
Arteta
don't
out
help you small. I don't mention FA
the
Cup, right? He won the FA Cup.
the the Arteta out brigade. I think it was unfair the way.
Hold on. Before you go, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Right, I think one thing I want to make really clear is I think there's this thing that people have been doing where the moment you criticize Mikel Arteta, you are sort of tagged as a Mikel Arteta out brigade. And I don't.
Well, you,
I don't
well,
think that's.
you tagged me because sexual too now.
Well, I mean, okay.
So it's give and take.
Okay, give and take. All right. So keep going.
Okay, maybe not everybody who decides that that wants him out. Yeah, some
Yeah.
people just decide because they expect better. Yeah, so that is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think is like many people turned on the guy really quickly. Wasn't given the benefit of it. I mean, this is somebody that it can be justified though because the results were pretty poor. I
Do
think
you remember when? Do you remember when this happened? Was there a point where you think that people turned on him? You know, and what
I think it was during that bad run, and maybe
when we were
November.
when we were less than 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where I think we won one game in 7 games or 8 games.
Okay.
Lost 7, drew 1, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of understandable. But for me, I just feel somebody that has won the FA Cup against all odds, yeah, and coming into the new season, winning the Shield also. I think that kind of gives me a level of confidence, and I think Arteta has it's like having money in the bank. He has a bit of goodwill in the bank for me.
It still does for you.
As at that time, at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's I felt the calls for Arteta being sacked where we can criticize the manager at that point, but I think the calls for his sack were not just didn't sit right with me, to be honest. So that's what I felt at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, but looking at the way things have gone on now, it's not out of place to like want the manager out because many have been sacked for less. Yeah, but I just feel that there's something about this guy that we are yet to start from. Yeah,
Can you tell us some of those something?
Yeah, one of the major signs that I look out for when it comes to should we give a manager time or should we let him go? Should we sack him? What I always look out for is the body language of the players, the demeanor of the players on the pitch, yeah, and also off the pitch. That will tell you if because the people that are going to save the manager's job are the players to a large extent. Yeah. So no matter how good the manager is, once the players stop buying into your ideas, they stop buying into your philosophy.
So for you,
that's it.
You think that you think the players buy into what Mikel Arteta is trying to do?
100%.
Okay. So I have some comments that I want to read to you based on what you just said. Somebody said that Martinez won the FA Cup with Wigan, but then he relegated them. So do you have a comeback to that?
Martinez won the FA Cup with Wigan. Did he win the Shield? I don't think he won the Shield.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
so yeah,
we won the Shield.
Can I let me interject here? If you're going to keep pointing at the fact that Arteta won the cup and the Shield, and so by because of that he should be given a benefit of that and whatever, I am going to put it to you now that what's the name of Di Matteo won a bigger trophy at Chelsea, won the Champions League with Chelsea, and the next season he wasn't doing well and he was fired. So I don't think you're going to guilt trip anyone into. We need what?
We need to when we come out and we compare coaches and clubs, we need to be able to be aware of the context. Yeah, Arsenal is not Chelsea.
What context?
The standard at Chelsea is way higher than what we have at Arsenal.
I'm just letting you know that using the FA Cup line, to me, it's a no-no. It's a no-no because
the FA Cup is not an excuse to say, oh, we deserve to be where we are. No.
We are not trophy stars.
Bro, the FA Cup wins against the FA Cup win against all odds. Bro, we beat Liverpool, Man City, and Chelsea to win the FA Cup. Yeah, that's enough for me to know that, okay, this guy, all things being equal, this guy can actually do a job. Yeah, if you look at our performances against the top 6 teams in the league, compared to, with what Arteta has done and before Arteta, it's way better. You get? So there are loopholes here and there that I believe that with time this guy can actually fix it. But there are also evidences to suggest that he can do the job. That's just the point. It's not been a total failure like many people want us to believe. There's no excuse for where we are right now on the table. You get? But then there are evidences to suggest that if we correct one or two things, then we might be in a better position.
So what do you say to the people who, you know, I hear a lot of the people who support Mikel Arteta, they always try to they lead with this you know, there's no excuse for where we are, you know, we should be higher. But then when people complain about the fact that, you know, we are not where we're supposed to be, they would immediately counter those people as well. So, you know, it's a bit of a double standard.
you think it's hypocritical to say?
I think so. So
well, the reality is that we have to look at look at ourselves as a club, and maybe in terms of
some of the other things I heard from you right now is you're saying that we should lower our standards as well. You
know. No, and this is the point here, bro.
So for you, why do you think do you think Mikel is underperforming? And if you do, why? Why do you think he is underperforming?
Mikel underperformed for several reasons at the start of the season.
You're saying he's not
denying that fact. You get?
He's no longer underperforming.
But that's why I said context is very important, and our expectations are kind of different.
Okay.
You get? For a rookie manager, you get? There are going to be mistakes along the way, whether we like it or not. But it now depends on the frequency of the mistakes. You get? It depends on the frequency of the mistakes and the progress that we're talking about. We are still in contention, whether people like it or not. We are still in contention for top 6, even top 4. Even though yes, but it's not impossible. You get it? Right now, it's not impossible.
It is impossible.
As long as we still have, and we are still in the Europa League quarterfinals, we can actually win the Europa League, and that will change the whole dimension of it. Yes, if we win the Europa League, that changes everything. You get there's no excuse for where we were at the beginning of the season, and we can point to several reasons why.
Can you give us some of those reasons for you?
For me, the standout reason was Arteta worked himself into a situation that was impossible, and it's kind of
what situation was that? Can you
the Ozil situation with the club? The Ozil situation with the club didn't started before Arteta arrived at the club, and it was unfortunate that he kind of took it upon himself to make certain changes, and I think those changes kind of hurt our performances at the time, because we're lacking and it was difficult scoring goals, and at the end of the day, the defense had to overwork, and when you're not scoring goals, all it takes is one mistake and you're losing the game. You get? So I think that kind of affected our performance, and that reflects on the table right now. That's why we are suffering right now, because I imagine when we had that poor run, if we maybe won 2 games, drew won 3 straight games, I think we will be better placed right now than where we are, and that's the difference actually, because we are like I think 5 points or 6 points off from the 5th place club on the log. Yeah, and that says something.
So
if we look at it from that from that angle,
Uh-huh.
it tells us that we are not far off, like people want us to think. The results have been inconsistent, but we are not far off. All it takes is one or two things coming together. Then I think breakfast will be served. Everybody will be able to eat breakfast.
That's a nice. That's a
So
nice.
that's what I believe. That's what I believe, and I just believe. I just have that belief that things will just come together for us very soon.
Muiwa, everything I'm hearing from you so far, and maybe it's just me. It's very much on the side of how people preach about religion. You know, just believe. Don't worry. You may not.
No, but I've given you facts, Cappuccino. I've told you that the table doesn't lie. If you look at the first half of the table, it was terrible. Look at the table right now. We're on the rise.
On the
You
right.
get
What
yes.
is your
We're on
definition?
the rise. If you look at the table right now, there's been improvement in terms of goals considered, goals scored. We actually scored more goals than we used to score previously.
Mhm.
Yeah, people can say, "Oh, that was Adidas' fault." Is his job to fix it? You get it. But now, do you now sack a manager when things seem to be going right?
No. But so
And
here's my. I think here's where I'm confused. Right, is the fact that you sort of talked about how Mikel made a mess of the situation, and you're on the other, like in the same breath, you are also trying to make a case for why he deserves to still keep his job after he's done that. So I think that's really where I'm confused. So it's like somebody did something that you are saying is sackable, but he should still pay.
and that's why I pointed the that's why I pointed to the I think there's an echo somewhere.
Yeah. Muiwa. I think it's okay. I'm just gonna be still. We're still. Gee.
So that's why I pointed to the FA Cup win at the end of last season at the field.
Okay.
I think that was the only reason that brought at that time, because I feel that if Adeda had been sacked during that bad run, it wouldn't have been a bad call necessarily.
Mm.
If we are being honest here, then it wasn't sacked. So if we have been through that bad form, and now we are getting into a bit of stability, although we need to move into onto more consistency. You get, so if we're able to be able to go through that storm, come out of that, and now we are trying to build a bit of foundation for the club moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think the time to sack Arteta has passed. It was end that if I thought it was going to be sacked.
When would have been
now?
When would
not
have
now when things are beginning
to sack him for you?
You said
when would have been a good time to sack him?
As much as I like the guy and what he stands for, he could have been sacked during that bad run. That's what most clubs would have done.
You think it would have been fair if we had sacked him during that bad period?
Some people might say it might not have been fair because we don't know if Arteta and the club are saying, "Oh, we are on a project. This is a project," and we all know what a project is. You get, there are some phases that it might not work out well. You get, so some people might say, "Oh, it might seem unfair," but to me, it's fair enough to have sacked him at the time.
For you, right? So for you, when somebody says this is a project, right? You cannot just say this is a project and accept expect everybody to just be like, okay, yeah, this is a project. Like there has to be some evidence of.
Okay, for a project, there are objectives along the way. That okay, this is a project.
Right.
These are the objectives that we want to be able to achieve along the way.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's the question that's the reason that's the more reason why I keep telling people, like, let's give this guy time, because one of the objectives I'm sure of will be, okay, in the long run, we want to make the top four, get back into Champions League places.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if we still have a chance of making Champions League place through Europa League, I think is enough reason to like, okay, let's see what's going to happen at the end of the season.
Okay.
Even though we might not necessarily agree with the way we are performing on in the league, you get. But then the evidences to suggest that the mistakes that were made previously have been reduced, and that for me is what stands out. Is he learning? Are we? Is he learning from his mistakes? Yeah. So it's those things that stand out for me, not just about because we could have a fantastic season this season. Let's assume that everything went right. We could also have a fantastic season, and next season could just be terrible too. You get there's no assurance in this game at the end of the day.
We're not looking for assurance. I think we're looking for progression. You know.
So Papuchino, do you think there's no progression
I don't think
at
so.
all?
I haven't seen it.
When you're not looking.
I'm not the one arguing. So let me bring Muiwa to come and tell you whether he sees progression or not. But for me, I don't. But this is not about me now. This is about you and your namesake. Where is Muiwa now? Niger Gunners.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. All right. So meanwhile, I have one or two questions to ask you. Now, do you believe there's a process? That's my first question to you, and I need you to answer. Then with that, we'll progress.
All right.
And I am going to counter your
No, I'm asking a
question.
question. I'm asking a question. I'm asking a question. When it is your time, you ask me your question. But now it is my time. You've been talking, so.
Well, I've been talking about
Wait, where's this echo? Okay, let's try again.
There's no echo from my end. There's no echo from here.
Muiwa.
All right. Can I go on?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Now, I'm going to read you some stats, and you make of those stats whatever it is that you want to make of them. Now, and I'm going to be very, very sincere with you. The stats are not pretty. They are not very, very pretty for Artesonate and Arsenal fans wherever we are. So now Emery was sacked when we were after 13 games last season, right? Then we were 8 on the log. I think we've won 5 or thereabouts, lost, and then we've drawn some. So let me just read the stats to you so that you could see how bad things were under Arteta, and so that you could see that all these your talk of improvements are made in a way. So at a point this season, we averaged 50.6% possession of the ball. Then at that point, 10 Premier League clubs have seen more of the ball. That's one. At the point this season, we've had fewer shots per game than the likes of Newcastle, Crystal Palace, and Burnley. Then also at the point this season, we've considered in fact, in terms of shots considered, we are 10th on the log. That's another stat that is not looking good for Mikel Arteta. At a point this season, only 3 clubs, that's Villa, Sheffield United, and Burnley, have attempted fewer dribbles than Arsenal this season. So that way, you could say Arteta's tactics is stifling. They are stifling our creativity. And at a point this season, only Burnley and Leicester have made fewer key passes than Arsenal 65. That was at the point before you would say there was an upturn in form, but that is not unexpected anyway, because if you have players like Willian roaming around your team, you would have miserable pass statistics. And at a point this season, we've spent more time in our own defensive third than our opposition. I don't know how you expect to score goals if most of the time you're supposed to attack. You are in your own you're in your own area doing whatever it is that you're doing there. Then at a point this season, and I still believe that is still the situation now, even despite the so-called upturn in form, we have created fewer big chances than any other Big Six club. So you would argue that you're seeing the process, but then any process that you're seeing that is not translating to result is not a process. It's just a waste of time. That's to me. You would also be amazed to see that Arteta's Arsenal are currently creating one big chance per game. Only 8 teams are creating fewer chances. Let me see. So okay, let me just stop there for now. If you're going to argue that Arteta should be given time, then why didn't you put forward that argument when Emery was sacked? You could argue too that Emery wasn't given time, he wasn't giving the players he would have loved to do whatever it is that he wanted to work with. You could argue that and you would be right. So why are you clamoring for Arteta to be given more time when it is obvious now that he even has a better score than what Emery had?
Um, I came prepared for you, bro.
No, no, well, that's the
Yeah,
idea
so
now.
I knew something like this is gonna come up. You get. You've mentioned all the statistics, and rightfully so. All right. You get, and that still points to the fact that we had a shitty start to the season. You get. There been an upturn in the form? Yes, that is fact. That's not my opinion. That is fact. And you talked about why I didn't clamor for Emery to be given more time. And I said something at the start. One of the reasons why I still buy into Arteta's stay at Arsenal is because the players still buy into his philosophy, whether we like that or not. But that's what is going on. The players have shown us, they've come out to speak several times that they like what the manager is bringing to the table. He might
Muyiwa,
not.
let me interject here. As you personally, are you going to come out to question your boss on on social
Bro,
media? You personally.
and I will answer you. When Emery lost the dressing room, did any player
Mm.
come out and say, "Oh, he has lost the dressing room. Oh, that's why we are not
No,
playing"? You know,
no, but no,
we know these things. We see these things, bro.
you don't know.
Except we're trying to be disingenuous. Yeah, we see these things. We know when the manager has
You know
lost the
what?
dressing room. We will know. Not be today. We don't support Arsenal now. We
Hold
go
on, hold
know.
on. Okay. Do you believe the gist flying around that okay at the point this season the dressing room has been split into two. There are some factions that are for Mesut Ozil, and there are some factions that believe Arteta is right for not including him in the team to prosecute some of our matches before he eventually left in January. Do you agree with those rumors that
And
that
I will answer your question. Two things can be true. Are you really trying to tell me that there will be no player or there will not be players in the dressing room that have the opinion that what the way
no
Ozil's
my point is
wait,
this.
wait,
My
wait.
point is this. Wait now. What the point I was trying to establish is this. I've seen so many attestates come out to say, okay, player A said this, player B said this, but no sane human, no sane person would come out to badmouth his boss, except you're ready to
You
find
might
out.
not badmouth your boss, but bro, the performance will show that you are no longer interested in playing for this man. And I'll tell you something.
Mm,
The the way Ateta dealt with Aubameyang's lateness that day was a perfect excuse for everything to go bad if these players were not really with the manager. This is
Okay.
a big game.
Wait,
This is a big game.
wait.
Hold on. This is a big game against Tottenham. You get they could have just said, "Oh, this guy don't do him again." They always fuck up, and they would down tools. Not like they will come and say, "Oh, we want to lose," but they will not. They won't put effort, especially going and go down to Tottenham, and that tells me that no matter what the storm that we are going through right now, these boys who have been professionals all their lives, they see something that we can't see with our eyes right now. They see something that we cannot really see, and they believe in this guy. And that renews my confidence in Arteta and say, "Oh, this guy deserves more
Wait,
time." You get
well, let me ask you this.
if at this stage
Let me.
if at this stage next season we are still at this point like the way we are right now, then absolutely. If you meet me on the street, shoot me if I tell you he deserves more time. Yeah, but
Wait,
right now, with the way things are, come on.
where do you live? Where do you live? So that I can at least know that address.
Yeah, and you were talking about Emery, and I want to tell you something now. Something that because I like to look at both sides of the argument. Yeah, Emery did pretty well in his first season, but critics will tell you that Emery overachieved with what he got at Arsenal, and that reflected on us towards the end of the season. When Emery came to Arsenal in the 2018-2019 season, we went on an unbeaten run, 22 matches. Our expected goals was 33 at that time, but we scored 50 goals. It was overachieving. Yeah.
Yes.
Then towards the end of the season, when we needed just one win to make Champions League, we couldn't get the win. We stopped scoring goals. You get so when you come out. So see, the point is this. The point is this. At that time, we're only papering over the cracks. There were obvious cracks, and it's unfortunate that this guy has come in and he has walked into the situation. He could have done better with the Ozil situation, for sure. But it happened the way it happened. But we need to understand that as at the point that Emery left, this club was on a decline in terms of performances, whether we like it or not.
Mikel Arteta hasn't fared better too. We are for Christ's sake, we are at the point we're flirting with relegation this season. So I don't know. I don't know what better he has done. He won the FA Cup, even as Wenger at his lowest, won the FA Cup. So the FA Cup.
I don't like when people bring Wenger into.
No, I think
the only person that we can really bring a bit of comparison into Arteta is maybe we can just say Emery or something, because when we start to talk about Wenger, that's so many factors at play, and you cannot even compare.
I asked you a question earlier. Yeah. Did you make all these excuses that you're making for Mikel Arteta? Did you make those excuses for Unai Emery? Because me personally, I have said this several times.
Emery. I lost faith in Emery when he lost the dressing room.
I'm going to state this for everyone to hear. I'm not going to support or defend Arteta for what I slated Emery for. It would be very, very, very dishonest of me to do that. I was a very, very, very vocal critic of what's it called, of Emery. I wanted Arteta immediately when Wenger left. I wanted Arteta after Emery was fired. So I'm not going to give him a pass for what I criticized Emery for. It is not going to happen under my watch. Arteta might have I don't want to say fooled people into believing that he has done a great job, but the truth is, if you look at all the metrics, if you look at where we are presently, there's just nothing to show that we're progressing. There's just nothing to show that we're progressing. You look at Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, the guy has been a goal scorer all his life, and this season my man will be lucky to score 15 goals in
But
the league.
that is bound to happen at any point in time. And Aubameyang is bound to have a bad run of form at any point in time.
Mm,
There's
mm,
no
mm.
everybody suffers from this. There's no Aubameyang
even
has been scoring double digits for
even
8-9
even under
years
the
now.
even
That is
even under
incredible.
even, even under the clueless Emery, he didn't suffer. So it
That,
just
that, that, is, that
happened
is that is
under.
incredible. This same Aubameyang played under Arteta last season and he was scoring goals. So, and we all know of Aubameyang's personal issues that he's
Okay,
been battling with.
I'm I'm
Yeah, so there are
I'm
so
going
many.
to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this. Our upturn in form, is it down to the coaches,
I've seen,
to the managers,
I've seen Bisola.
is it? Yes. Bisola asked that question, and I'm going to put it to you. Is it down to the manager's brilliance, or it is down to the players' brilliance? Let me say
And I think this is the problem that we have as fans. We like to separate. This thing is like it's like you are a cook. When you are a cook, everything has to come into play. The heat has to be right for you. You get. So people will tell you, oh, this food, oh, it needs low steam. You get. Even if you put all the ingredients, if the steam is high, it will still get bad. You get. If the taste will not come out right. So it's not just about the player quality. Yes, the right player quality is also important in achieving certain results. You get, and also the process itself too is important to achieving those results. So it's for me, it's a combination of both factors. You get, I believe that we have good players to achieve even more than we're achieving right now. There's no doubt about that. You get, but football is not just about having good players alone. So many factors come into play. Again, on our own, we've lost maybe 2-3 games this season, whereby it's just been one reckless decision or the other by the players. You get, and at the same time, we've lost some games whereby we can just put the blame at the manager and say, "Oh, this was on you." You get, so it's when a team loses or wins, I don't believe it's down to one factor. It's a combination of several factors. You get, coming together to bring out everything. For me, that's where it is. So back to
okay.
that question, it's based on the process and the player quality because the players believe in the process and that's giving them the foundation, the confidence to be able to come out
Mm,
and show their quality. For me,
mm,
that's it.
mm. Before I proceed, I would like to ask you this question because this is your impassionate defense of Mikel Arteta. I would like to ask you, who is bankrolling you? I'm, I'm, I'm curious because you shouldn't be doing this.
You know, I should ask you to. I should ask you to. Why are you so passionate about not giving
See,
Adela more time? Is it that you don't
like,
believe that? Is it that you don't
like,
believe that we're on a decline? Do you think after Wenger everything will just come in easy, everything will be rosy? And
see,
this not to say, and bro, when you compare, I want you to compare the beginning of the season. Um are you telling me that when a new manager goes into a job, you were not expecting for situations like this to happen? Is it that you never thought about it or you never expected it? Are you
see,
disappointed?
I,
Like
I, I,
what's
I,
on your mind?
I started having doubts. Well, let me just say on the lighter note anyway. I started having doubts when Willian came up to tell us that the coach told him that he wants to win the Champions League with him. I mean, this Willian,
But
this Willian,
but what would have and that's one of Arteta's strengths too. Yeah, many of us are
that's
failing
what
to recognize. Whether we
what
like it
strength.
or not, whether we like it or not, Arteta knows how to get the best out of many of these boys
No, he
mentally.
doesn't.
Yeah, he
Mm-mm.
knows how to
Mm.
get the best out of them. And another strong point for Arteta is that
Has he gotten the best
his
out of Willian?
transfers, Arteta's transfers has been pretty good. Yeah, I would give him a 70 out of 100. His transfers have been okay. They've been very fine. when we look at the players that have come into the club, have they increased competition in the club? Yes. Have they added to the club one way or the other? Yes. Apart from maybe the handling of the way Saliba was handled and all that, you get. But apart from that, the players that have left the club, have they have they deserved to leave? Yes. You get. We can say, okay, maybe in certain circumstances they could have handled it better in terms of I think just the Ozil for me. I don't care about any other
Wait,
person.
can I ask you a question? Sorry for interrupting you. Can you give me a list of the players that you think Mikel Arteta is getting the best out of right now?
Getting the best out of.
Yes.
Yeah, Tierney is one of them.
See,
We're getting the best out of Tierney.
Okay.
Saka is one of them. You get Shaka, even for God knows when. I think they've never been a
wait,
season like this where even the staunch critics of Shaka will come out and say, "Oh, this guy has actually done well." Although they will still go back to blaming him next week. But we know they've actually come out sometimes this
well,
season to say, "Oh, this guy has done really well." You
I'm,
get so
I'm
there are
going,
few
I'm,
players, there are few players, and
I'm going to,
I'm not saying all that is down to Teta's brilliance. Obviously, the players have put in effort in some of these things. You get, but the general idea is that these players believe in the manager. That is it. For me, when the players stop believing in the manager, they are the professionals. They are the one that knows what they've met. They've worked under several managers. In fact, let me tell you, even with the way Pepe has been treated, maybe unfairly, like some people would say, like, oh, he should have gotten more game time, which I agree to sometimes. You get, but then even when Pepe comes on, you see it in him. You see the hunger. Again, it's changed, whether we like it or not. You see a desire in Pepe now, like that wasn't there before. Maybe if he gets more time, we'll be able to see more of that regularly. But right now, even
uh,
when he comes on as a sub or when he starts, you see something different in this guy. And that tells me Pepe could have just sat down somewhere and start sulking and say, "Oh, this guy does not like me." But whether we like it or not, the manager has been able to stoke a reaction out of this guy. And that points to the fact that this guy is doing something right. He's doing something right for me. We might not necessarily agree, but for me, I think there are evidences. Whether you see the evidence or not is left to you, bro. But the evidences to
all
suggest
your
that
all your arguments have been if you don't see it, that's your problem. I can see it.
no, because bro, let me tell you, you might not see something if you are not looking for it. You're not looking if you don't want to see anything good in
but,
the guy, I assure
but
you,
I am,
you will not
but I
see
am
anything
look,
good.
but I am looking for it. I am looking for it. I am looking for it.
Bro,
I've
but
not
how do you say we've had a very bad start to the season? You get, and now we are entering into a bit of good form. Whether we like it or not, the form hasn't been that bad. It could be
good
better,
form.
yes, but it hasn't been that bad so far. You get, at the turn of the year, it hasn't been that bad. It can be better, I agree, but it hasn't been that bad. So how do we say the Boomsy? How do we say? How do we say? And there's been no. How do we say there's been no progress? Come on.
See,
If we say this is Ateta's first full season as Arsenal's manager. You get, this is the first time he had access to the transfer market. The one during the summer and the one in January.
that's
You get,
that's that that that
if we
that's
say
not that's
before January,
that's not an
it was
excuse.
just the summer.
Frank,
Before
Frank
January, it
Lampard
was just the
Frank,
summer.
Frank Lampard joined Chelsea from Derby. He had no transfer window at all, and he worked with what he had, got the club into top four. So I don't buy this excuse that there's no transfer window.
Are we really going to compare Chelsea to Arsenal?
I'm
Because
just
context
saying they are both
matters. We
they are
might
both
not
trophy managers. They are both trophy
we
managers.
don't deserve to be where we are, but bro, but we need to be a bit realistic in terms of when we are comparing clubs.
Wait,
Yeah.
you've been saying we don't deserve to be where we are. And then in the same
And
vein,
Ateta knows that too. He said that several times. It's not acceptable.
you
Where
still
we
want
are,
us
it's
to
not acceptable.
excuse the person responsible for where we are right now. Come on now, in what universe? How do you even put both together? You don't want, you know, where we are is not acceptable, and you still want us to excuse, or you
So
don't want us to.
what would your solution be? To sack the manager and get a new manager. And if the new manager comes in and it doesn't do well, we sack him too. And we
Okay,
know, and the funny thing is this: we are the same club we are the same fans that complain that, oh, we don't have that much funds on our hands to now start sacking managers and be paying managers off. You get, but now this is a manager that won the FA Cup, that won the Community Shield, and he had a bad start to the season, obviously. But now things are getting better. There's been a bit of progress, whether we like it or not. So that's the reason why I've said maybe we need to calm down and look at things objectively and say, okay, the beginning of the season was bad, but things are getting better. Maybe, just maybe, we're about to get the best.
Okay. Well, I think I'm just going to agree with you. If we discount and what happened, let's just assume that the season began in December. I mean, let's assume the season began in December. Things are looking good, so we just ignore what happened before December. And yeah, the coach is working. Let's give him a new 3-year
But bro,
contract.
the
Blah, blah,
season
blah.
doesn't end in December either. The season doesn't end in December either. So
So
whether you say the season started in December, well, it doesn't end in
you
December too.
Your argument has been that okay, we've been one of the form teams in the league since December. So so are we just going to discount the Red Sea that we had before December? No, you're not going to discount
But every club,
at the point
every club has a red sea, bro.
not
Every
like
club has a red sea.
not like losing 11 out of how many games. No, now, no, be like that. Artesunate would argue that okay, our records against the top six is top notch. We can stand toe to toe with them. But I would also put it to them that our records against sides that we should normally blow off is nothing to write home about. I mean,
And
we
which
lost.
and which do you think is easy to fix?
Which do you
Which do
think
you
is
think
easy
is
to?
easy to fix? Which of those? If we were beating the smaller teams and we're being slapped left and right by the bigger teams,
You 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 you
what would be your thoughts?
you
Which of the
only you
problems
only
do you think would have been easier to fix?
you only play the bigger sides. I think 10 times in a season. You have the smaller. You see. I'm not disputing the fact that okay, he has made us a bit tougher to beat or to play against. But then if you still look at our record against this so big side, it's not like we haven't lost to them this season. We've lost to Manchester City home and away. We lost to Tottenham. We've lost to Liverpool. We've lost to Liverpool, and those are. I'm not overly concerned about those big sides really. But the smaller side. I mean, how do you defend losing home and away to Aston Villa? How do you defend losing to Burnley? Burnley has never won at Arsenal for how many years? They defeated us. So I mean, you could argue that okay, the coach is doing is doing this, but when you look at all those stats, the truth is, if you look at the stats of this season, you would be amazed yourself at how Ateta himself still has a job. You would be amazed, because I don't even the so-called lower sides. I don't think any of their managers would survive what the travesty that Arteta survived at that. I don't think any of their managers would survive it. Fine, we might have a laid back owner who is only concerned about profit and stuff like that, but even as fans, we should be able to tell ourselves the truth. Now, let's even leave that aside. You're of the opinion that okay, let's give Arteta a full transfer, another transfer window, and next season, if things don't get better, we should come back to this discussion and probably start shouting Arteta at that point. So I'm going to ask you, how many players do you think we need to how many players do we need to get this manager for him to be able to play a star? How many players do you think we need to be able to play a star?
I I laugh when people ask that question, and I see people who support Ateta fall into that trap, and they start explaining, "Oh, we need so and so player, we need this, we need that." I don't know how many players we need. That's left for the manager to decide, bro. I don't know what he sees. I don't know where.
Give us an
I
estimate.
don't know. Huh?
Give us an estimate. What do you think? Like,
I don't know what he sees in training. Yeah. See, the point is this. The point is this. Adela has a vision. He's a manager. Every manager has a vision. Like, okay, this is where I want to be. This is okay. Let me give you an instance. We've been talking about how our league positions from Wenger down to Emery now to Arteta. I remember when Wenger's last season, I think we considered 51 league goals. That was the highest in our record in the Premier League that we ever considered. Then Emery came into and we started conceding left, right, and centre towards the end. Also, you get. Then Arteta came in. Then our expected goals that we're supposed to concede dropped. I think from 1.3 to 0.8 thereabout. You get, and this is maybe at this stage of the process is focusing on, okay, I'm coming to this club. Let me stabilize the team defensively. Let me see how I can get a bit more defensive solidity out of this team. And we can build on that. I have goal scorers in my team. I have the attacking talent in my team. But unfortunately, the defensive tax that we've set, that he has set for the squad, as kind of, there's been a kind of trade-off. It has impacted on the goals that we've been able to score. You get, and that was one of the reasons why we struggled at the start of the season. But now there's been a bit of mixture. He has kind of reduced the expectations of the defensive side. You get, and we're scoring more goals now. Although we can still do better attacking wise, but we are scoring more goals. You get, so that tells me that this guy actually has a plan. So if he's looking at something like this, if he's looking at, and people say, oh, he could have played ESR when we didn't have the 10, he could have played ESR something. But ESR was injured and he was just coming back from injury.
You see, Muyiwa, let me just put this to you and let's see where this leads us. You see, I'm going to be frank with you now, and this, I don't think I've said this anywhere, but the truth is this: whichever way you want to look at it, the manager has underperformed this season. This season has been a disaster. He had the perfect platform. That was the FA Cup victory. He had the perfect platform to build on and probably make the season and probably make the season a success. But as it is now, this season has been a disaster. The only saving grace, the only bit of icing on the cake that we could have, or the only thing that could make this season a bit of a success is if we go ahead to win the Europa League, which I doubt we would win, because I mean, if you look at the past few games that we've had in the Europa League, you win away, you come to your own stadium, and then you lose at home. So that doesn't even fill me with confidence. So this manager has underperformed. Fine, it's left to the owner to decide if they want to give him a new chance. But as for me, I'm not getting my hopes. I wish him all the best. But if it doesn't happen, good luck to him. Another manager would come in. He's not doing us a favor by being the manager of Arsenal. He's not doing us a favor. He was It was Pep Guardiola's cone man. Joke. So
But
we
do you support a new contract for the manager or not?
you mean me?
Yeah. Do you support an extension for him?
Not now. No,
No?
I do not. I do not. I do not. Based on what I've seen so far this season, I do not. I do not at all. I do not. So I do not.
You,
It
you,
like
wait, wait,
like
wait. So you want PSG to come and snatch our manager? Is that what you're saying?
if he leaves, another person will. If Emery didn't leave, he won't come now. So the Arsenal manager's position is not even Wenger to leave at the point. So who is Arteta? He's not an Arsenal legend to begin with. So if he wants to go, make him
It
go.
doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be an Arsenal legend.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fair. So Muiwa, you support a new contract for the manager then? That's what I'm hearing.
Right now,
His current deal
no,
runs till 2023, but they're trying to put some more years in.
I think a new contract might be a bit premature right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
because
Glad we can agree on that.
no, that's it for me. Yeah, I think a new contract might be a bit premature because
okay. So
anything goes wrong,
then
we might have to compensate him more and spend more trying to sack him, and that might eventually impact on having to let him go. We might not want to let him go just because we'll be paying a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah. But even though I believe that we're on the right track, it might not look like it, but I strongly believe.
All right, I have one closing question for both of you. I have the Green Guna and Bolaji. They are here and they are ready to start their own the second round of the series. So one more question, and I'm gonna let you guys go. So the first, Muiwa, I want to ask you, what's going to be like if you had to look back at the end of this season to say that this was a successful season, what would that be for you? Like, what does a successful season look like for you?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, no, I'm asking you.
Yeah. A successful season will be making Europa League places through the league or winning the Europa League and qualifying for Champions League eventually.
Okay.
That would be, I think that would be success for
So
us.
if we don't win the Europa League, this season is not a good one. It's not a successful one for you. Is that what you're saying?
It depends. It depends on how you look at it. I think as a fan, it would have been a failure per se. Not winning the Europa League and not qualifying for Champions League, not qualifying for Europa League at least. I think that it would be a failure as a fan.
Okay.
But then in terms of the bigger goal and what we are looking to achieve, it might just be good for us. But then I would prefer.
I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that. No.
I would prefer.
Don't worry about what would be good for us or what might be good. What is a successful season for you?
A successful season for me, just like every other Arsenal fan.
Section, they are calling you Femi Adesina. So
it's a successful season for me, just like every other Arsenal fan.
What's a good season for you at the end of this season?
At the end of this season,
yeah.
Bro, if we can make the Europa League, I'll be over the moon. Considering what we've gone through this season.
Okay.
Because I think it will work for everybody. If we make the Europa League, it will be like, then it's easier for people to like, okay, let's give this guy more time. Maybe what happened was just a blip. Because everybody wins at the end of the day. Whether you are Arteta out or you are Arteta in, whatever good things happen to Arsenal, everybody benefits from it. Either way, so I think if we make the Europa League, that's good for all of us. Yeah. So
Okay,
um,
Europa League, Europa League. All right, cool. That's your definition. Muiwa,
Yeah.
what's a successful season for you?
Uh, um, considering the way our season had gone, well, obviously we can't finish in the top four anymore. So if we can manage to win the Europa League, well, yeah, winning the Europa League would somehow compensate, not fully anyway, but would somehow compensate for what has been a very very underwhelming season for me.
Okay.
A a successful season would have been one that see us back in the top four, in the top four position. But as that is out of reach now, if we can manage to win the Europa League, yeah, let's. I think it's a success in a way.
Yeah. So that would be 2 seasons in a row where we are basically having to salvage our season by getting into Europe one way or the other. So okay, that's fair. Um, some people might say that you
why
were
you call
some.
it sal? Why did you call it salvaging?
That's what I mean. Is that a wrong word? You think that's a wrong word to use? So I mean, it's.
Do
I
you,
think
do
it.
you, do you, do you think we have enough to consistently make top four?
I think we're a top four / top six side on paper. So yeah.
Papu, what I'm asking you is, do you think we have enough to go into every season and say minimum is top four? Anything else is failure.
Actually, if there was any season where we should be a surefire, for top four, it's actually this season because of the way that those teams around that that um, spot and those spots have performed. We should be like if you look at our winless run, it shows you everything that you need to know, right? Like if we had won in that 10-game winless run that we went on, if we had picked up 2 wins there, we would probably be in top four, top five, top six. So I mean,
I still believe
it's not a stretch to say that we are.
that run really affected the whole season.
Of
Yeah,
course.
but you're here defending the man responsible for that run. So I don't understand you.
Because I'm looking at the bigger picture, bro.
What
There's
picture?
no big,
I'm looking at the
there's no
bigger
big,
picture. You
there's no
don't you
big.
don't you don't throw away the baby with the bathwater, Babami.
Who is
I'm looking at
Ateta is not.
I'm looking at
See,
the bigger picture. I've said it several times that whether we like it
Muiwa,
or not,
Muiwa,
it's not acceptable, and
calm down,
we
calm
can
down,
put the blame at the manager's feet. You
calm
get,
down.
but then
See,
at the end of the day,
for a manager who talks as much as Ateta does, for a manager who tells us that most of the decisions at the club go through him or every time. I mean, you can't be doing all those. You can't be doing all those stuff and be giving us a Sam Allardyce result. So me, whatever happens this season, I'm laying it at the feet of the manager.
rightfully. But some of us are of the opinion that whatever happened has happened. We only have forward to look up to look. We only look forward instead of backwards. That's just the difference in mentality for me.
People
Some
are
people are
asking you that this bigger picture that you're talking about. What exactly is this bigger picture? So can you give us an answer, like a quick answer to that? Because we have another head-to-head coming right up. So what is the bigger picture for you?
the bigger picture for me is a solid Arsenal squad built on stability.
Mm.
A squad that can face anybody in the league and beat anybody on their day. You get, this is an Arsenal squad that I think has proven to us that we can actually go into big games and not be afraid.
Mm.
You get,
Mm.
so I'm looking at things that way. I'm looking at if we can fix the mistakes of the past, you get, and build on what we have presently. There's every
What about the
potential. There's every
what about the
potential
mistake?
that.
What about the mistake we are making presently?
What mistake are we making presently? And is there any
But
manager? Is there any manager that is free of mistakes? There is none. So, Baba, see, it's like I've said, it all boils down to our mentality of what we think the manager, who we think the manager is, and what we think he's doing. You get? I see somebody that is preparing something. And I've seen evidence to suggest that if we can correct some of the mistakes that we can we can correct some of the mistakes that he's done. You get like the whole, and I think it boils down to maybe it's not even about is that little to do with maybe tactics.
So is it worth it for you that now we go into big games with confidence, but then in the small games,
And that's where I'm looking at improvement.
I'm
I
not
want to see improvement.
somebody in the comment section that said,
Yeah, the person is right to say that. I want to see improvement in smaller games. Let's wipe teams. We know we are good against the bigger teams. We've gained confidence in that. But now we need to be able to take it further and get a bit of consistency. And the only way we can show consistency is by beating the smaller teams because we have more of the smaller teams. Again, if we get the smaller teams, spank them. Things would change for us, and I think that's where we need to improve. You get, and I think if he can maybe look at the squad objectively and see, okay, what can I do? Maybe I'm doing too much. Like he said it one time, like maybe he's doing too much in terms of the smaller games. Maybe we don't need a whole lot of preparation in terms of the smaller game. Maybe we need little tactical input. These things take time, and I feel that with a bit of time, this guy is going to come good. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen enough to suggest that maybe.
well, I'm glad you have seen enough, and I'm hoping that very soon I can see enough too, because at this point in time,
I'll be happy. I'll be happy if everybody can, because like I've said previously, during that bad form when we won, during those 7 games loss and whatever, if he had been sacked, it would have been a good call. You get. He wouldn't have raised any eyebrows. I believe in the guy. I believe he's a good manager. I believe he's tactically sound. He might not. If he was sacked then, does not mean he's a bad coach or he's a bad manager. He might still go on to be a very good manager. Yeah, and these things happen. Yeah, but right now he's here. He has my support. Till he doesn't have the support, and when things are beginning to go really bad, we will know.
Okay.
We are going to know because right now, for me, I still keep on saying it. What stands out for me is that the players who have been professionals all their life, they buy into the idea of the game. They still go to training, they train hard, they come to matches, even games where we are down, they still give their all. You get these things point to something. They believe in the manager.
Okay, Muiwa,
And we didn't see reactions like this during Emery's time.
Yeah, that's
when he was about to be sacked. So
I hear you. Naija Gunas, do you think the players they're playing for the manager, they're behind him, and they fully buy into what he's trying to do?
The players are playing for their own careers. They are playing for their own careers. So that's just what I'm going to say. They are playing for their own careers. They want to win games. They want to win games. Whatever it is they are doing is for their own career. So personally, I feel our upturn in form has been down to, or let me just say, has been more about the players' brilliance.
is it not hypocritical to say it has been down to the players, but when we lose a game or when we are in a bad spell, you blame the manager, but when things are going well, then the players are everything we want them to be.
Muiwa, what's your answer to that? I think we've lost Naija Gunas there. That's fine. We can go ahead and close this debate here. I have two other thoughts with him. So, well, thank you so much. We'll jump for Twitter.
No,
No,
it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
All right, boss. All right, boss. Okay, come on this one. Man. All right. Bolaji, are you there?
Hey, hi, I'm fine.
How far? Sorry it took long, but we are here. Let me see if Gringuna is there. Gringuna don't on video. Bolaji, you said go on your video.
Hi guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So the real violence is about to start. These two guys, right? So thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate your
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm sorry for keeping you waiting as well. But we're here now, so let's get to it straight away. So I'm pleased to introduce Bolaji as well as Victor, the Green Gunner, two people that have been on ARTV, some of our sessions, and over time we've noticed that you guys are sort of on opposite ends of the Mikel Arteta situation in terms of whether he deserves to be in the job or whether he's doing the right things, and whether he's the man to take Arsenal forward back into the promised land. So really, I think the main topic that we're going to be tackling today is about the process that we have been told to trust for some time now. So we would like to hear from both of you in terms of what this process is, or if there is really even a process at all, and if you guys can walk us through this. I'm sure Bolaji probably doesn't know or doesn't agree that there's a process. I'm sure that Green Gunner thinks there is a process, so I'm sure he'll tell us more about this process, and Bolaji will probably go the other way. So let me see. I think I'm going to go in alphabetical order. So Bolaji gets to go first, and then Green Gunner goes after him. So Bolaji, is there a process? And if there is a process, tell us what this process is, and help us to trust it more.
So again, good evening. It's good to be here. I think it's my first YouTube live. Hopefully it goes well. Anyways, so for me, of course, my first opinion about it is that now the deal has been done already.
Yep.
I'm not calling for the head of the manager right now, but I do believe that if the standards I do expect of an Arsenal manager have not met by the end of the season, then we need to cut our losses and move on, right? So for me right now, I struggle to see the future with this current manager in terms of my own view of what Arsenal football is, in terms of what I met, in terms of how I enjoyed Arsenal, in terms of a football club. So I do believe that he is a brilliant manager on his own, or he has potential. We can't even say he's brilliant yet because it's too early in his career to say he's a brilliant manager. But I'm not going to doubt his potential to be maybe, I don't want to use what class we're, but a very good manager in the future. But at this rate, I look at what he has done in the past 18 months or so, more than that now, I guess. And I think about it and I see this is not where I would want my my current club, my favorite club to direction to go. So for me, I fail to see what you call that process. And clearly for me, what I do think that needs to happen is there needs to be a constant improvement in performance, and ultimately that will show on the league table. I think that's like the ultimate way to assess performance, is how we are doing in relative terms to other teams. So it's a competition. You're essentially not in competition against yourself. If you are then that's not the purpose of the league. So that's why sometimes Man City had to get to 90-something points to win the league, just a point ahead of Liverpool. And that's why sometimes Leicester just had 70 or 80-something points and they won the league. You just need to be better than your competitors. You don't need to be better than yourself. So you can essentially be at 80 points this season and you don't win the league. And tomorrow, next season, you'll be at 76 points and then you win the league. So for me, that the ultimate way to assess performance in terms of Premier League, it's how you do in relative terms compared to your competitors. And right now we are not doing well. So last season we finished at eighth position. This season we are currently ninth. So if we don't, you know, surpass last season's, league table, then I struggle to see why you will say there's a process. Let me just keep it short here for now.
Okay. Nice one, Bolaji. Thanks for that intro into your insight on Mikel. So, Gringuna, is there a process?
Yeah, I'd say there's a process, and I disagree. I disagree with the view that there's no process. When you think about his first few interviews when he got the job, he talked about the identity he wanted to set for the football club, where he wanted them to be. He said there was a need to have a blueprint. He talked about having passion, being dominant. So it shows us that it was clear in his mind that there are some things he wanted to achieve, trying to attack, and then he made points that he needed us to grow. I must admit that sometimes we've been hard to watch. And there are some things that you feel, well, this is basic stuff the player should be doing, and it makes you think, well, is this guy really a coach? But then you see marginal improvements in other areas of the pitch, and you can see what he's trying to do. We may not fully agree. It's clear that some players didn't agree with his methods, and of course, we knew that. We saw how they fell out. Think about the likes of Guendouzi, the Ozil one I'll skip over. But then you see the so-called troublemakers, Mustafi, Kolasinac, and maybe Papa. They're kicked out of the club because they just didn't align with what he wanted them to do. Both probably more about off the field, but then there's I think he has a plan in his head. One thing he said when he joined, going back again, was that everyone had a clean slate. He wants to go into and touch their hearts and to scratch the surface and to see what is there, and then to know whether or not they need some surgery or not. And I think that's what he's tried to do. It's been a very painful process, I must admit, and I've been frustrated so many times, but it is what it is. And so far, all I'll say is so far so good. I'm happy with the way things are progressing, but then we have to keep the same energy. In the last few years of Wenger being in charge, it was all Wenger out. We're not where we are. We should be challenging for the title. We're finishing 4th and 5th, and he was hounded out of the club. Unai Emery came with some nice pressing football, and the players got tired. And after a while, he just looked clueless on the touchline. The players didn't know what the tactics were to do, and of course, he was fired. And Arteta has come in. So I believe the manager should be given an opportunity to impose himself on the football club and then have tangible results. And then if we don't see these tangible results, then we can start to think about whether or not we want him to remain in position. And when I say tangible results, I'm very particular about that, because it's not necessarily the results the fans want to see, but the results I'd say the owners of the club want to see. Unfortunately, we might love the club more than the owners, more than the Cronkies, more than the board, but it is that team that sets the direction of the football club.
In your estimation, how would you describe those tangible results that you just mentioned?
I remember maybe it was a few years ago. Wenger was at one of the board. I think it was the annual general meetings. I think Hillwood was still chairman, and he said we made a plan that's for, I think, 3 years out of 5 years, or 4 years out of 5 years, we'll be in the Champions League, and in 1 year we won't be in the Champions League. So as long as Wenger consistently delivered Champions League football, they were happy. The fans were not happy. We wanted to win FA Cups, wanted to win the Premier League, but they were happy. So sometimes, I think as fans, we need to manage our expectations. The owners of the club have set standards, and as long as the manager is meeting them, they're happy with him. But what really needs to happen is for the expectations of the fans to be aligned with the expectations of the owners of the club. And I think that's where there has been a disalignment, and so we get frustrated. So in terms of tangible results, I know on the other session you asked what would a good season look like. So maybe I'll start from there. A good season to me, this season in particular, will be getting back into the Champions League. I'm for one, in terms of football, I don't care how you get there, just get to the destination. If you're going to get in via league position, fantastic. If you're going to get in via the Europa League, fantastic. But at the end of this season, I believe what will mark a good season is Arsenal getting the Champions League. We've been in Europa League for the last 3 seasons. I'm tired of looking for dodgy streams every Thursday. I want to watch Champions League football on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Amen. I like that. I mean, I'm on the same page with you with the last thing you said. So,
I have a comment around what Victor just mentioned, and essentially 2 things. Yeah, we can agree that yes, the manager needed some players to play in terms of what he wanted, but I don't think the reason why we let out players like Papa or Kolasinac was because of their troublemaker session or whatever it is. It was essentially the manager felt that they were not good enough for the team, which is also a testament to let you know that the team has evolved, has improved in terms of quality over the past 2-3 years. So again, there's, in fact, if anything, Papa was really one of those few people that never made any rancor about his omission in the team. He was a thoroughbred professional throughout. So I do think that information, I'm not sure where you got that from. But in terms of causing trouble, yeah.
I want to just butt in on that. Remember, there was an alleged mole in the Arsenal dressing room, and then after the clear outs took place, Tata said the mole had been taken care of. So, of all the players that left, who do you think the mole was?
I don't believe in that, because I don't believe in such things, because again, it's difficult to pinpoint those kind of things, because you don't have any fact on ground except.
So the manager was lying.
He has lied before. He continues to lie.
No, so he was lying about this one.
I don't know, but he has lied before. So if he has lied before, then why do I have to hold all he says in 100%? If someone has lied to you before, will you take everything they take? So you choose to take what you think makes sense.
So the thing I'm going to say is, we always seem to know what was happening in the Arsenal dressing room.
I didn't know. That's why I didn't even say anything.
Oh,
about
you
it.
didn't
So
know?
You said,
okay.
Yes,
okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I didn't.
All right,
I didn't see that happening.
Let's drop it.
Yeah. So let's just move on.
Let's
There's some points you also mentioned in terms of that the fans need to calm down and then align their own expectations with the owners. The owners met the fans in that situation.
Okay, no, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I didn't say
the
fans need to align their expectation with the owner. There needs to be an alignment. So it works both ways.
Okay.
What you see historically is that maybe the board or the owners have become disconnected from the fans. So they don't they don't really understand what they're going through. So and also the fans sometimes needed some patience, even though they've been patient enough. So that needs to be an alignment to find out, okay, what works, given where we are as a football club, what's the best we can do, rather than having lofty expectations that can never be achieved.
What do you mean by can never be achieved?
Are you trying to tell me that Arsenal will win the Premier League next season?
Why not?
Any Arsenal fan that believes that is deluded.
Why?
Do you have the quality? When last did Arsenal win the Premier League? Number one. Number two.
We've not won it. I made one point.
I made one point. When last did Arsenal win the Premier League?
We've not won it in like 20 years.
I'm making a point. Next point is, in the last 50 games, have we shown any consistency that will inspire you? So why do you think we'll show? How
did Leicester win the league?
Leicester won the league in the year Arsenal should have won the league, because we decided to be stupid.
Forget about Arsenal now.
We came second. We came second.
Don't worry about Arsenal.
They were consistent for one season. They came up. They stayed up. Can I finish? They came up. They stayed up. They went on an amazing run at the end of one season. Carried that into the next season, and were consistent with their performance. Remember that in that season, Arsenal were the only team to beat Leicester home and away. But nevertheless, we lost games.
It's just a question.
No, I'm making a point. I'm making a point about Leicester. All Leicester had to do that season was to be consistent. It's like when Usain Bolt runs. He's never the fastest starter. But what the scientists will tell you, that he runs at the same pace throughout the entire race. So when the other athletes are tiring out, he's maintaining that same pace, and you think he's accelerating, but he's actually just maintaining a steady pace. When Leicester did that same thing in that season, Arsenal faltered and we didn't win the league.
Yeah.
So Leicester didn't win the league because they were better than us. They won the league because they were the most consistent.
So you're making my point. You're making my point.
So given where we are today, and how we've played in the last 38 games, where are we getting the momentum to win the league next season? So that's an aside. That's just a lofty expectation that we should cap it. Let's focus on things that are achievable. Then we build on that.
So for you to say that we don't have rights, or that anybody that thinks we can win the league is deluded, it's out of place, because like I just explained to you, a team that has never smelled something that looks like league came into a league where you had all these your big guns in there and they won. So if that is possible, so for a team like Arsenal that has been on the periphery of the Premier League over the past 10, 15 years, to say that if the fans feel that, oh, this season is our season, they are deluded, then it comes back to what we talk about in terms of what are the expectations. We can say at the end of the season, if we don't win the league and we are probably in top 4 and people are mourning,
So
and say, okay,
what I'll
maybe,
say is that you need to have evidence-based expectations.
What is evidence-based in football?
So let me finish. You've heard about new manager bounce. Most of the time, a new manager comes in, they win a few games. It's proven that a lot of the time when you get a new manager, the first 3-4 games you do well.
It didn't happen with us anyways.
So that's why we're a special breed. You'd always find
maybe that's why our manager is not good enough.
So look at the championship, for example. The team that wins the playoffs is usually the team that has the most momentum going into the final few games of the season. So they may have finished 6th, but because they have a certain momentum, maybe they are the team with the best run, say in the last 10 games, they most often than not win the championship playoff. And it's the same thing. We haven't shown any momentum that will tell me that we will be consistent over a 38-game season to even finish with 70 points. I haven't seen it. I'm not saying we don't have the quality to achieve it, but I haven't seen any evidence that these players are going to be able to do it. So what I do is, based on what I've seen, what is realistic? What's a smart target to have that we can hold the manager accountable for?
So, because usually I like facts when you make up something. So I actually went to look at Leicester 2014-2015 season. I don't want to really make this about Leicester team. So they had 9 games at the end of before then. In the last 18 games, they lost the first 10. They lost 6 or 8 out of them, and the last 9 games, like you mentioned, they won 7, they drew 1, and they lost 1. Right. So that was what they did at the end of that season, essentially from game 30, right? So it was just a 8-game, run, right? Where they won 6, drew 1, lost 1, and they came 14th at the end of that season. So if you look back at Arsenal, when we say, oh, we already picked up around our December, if you look at our December run, it was similar. So if essentially, I'm just going about it.
You're not supposed to pick. You're not supposed to pick in December. You're supposed to pick in February, March.
Let's just leave that by the side. Anyways, I don't really want to bother about Leicester. I don't really want to bother about Leicester. The most important point I want to actually talk about is that what is going to be your expectation for end of the season? Apart from, yes, you mentioned Champions League, right? I heard you say that whatever way you get it.
So let me answer it. What would be the question? What would be a good season? A good season will be Arsenal getting into the Champions League by any means. But my expectations for the season, and I said it before, is that Arsenal will finish 10th. Anything above 10th is a bonus for me. I don't see that we have it in us for this season to finish above 10th. If we do, it will be a fantastic one, but I don't.
So why? Why are we going to finish 10th if we finished 8th last season, right? And we improved the squad this season. Why should we regress?
So there are two things. You might improve, but then other teams have improved to a larger degree than you. So even though you're making progress, I'm speaking generally. Since you talk about improvement, so let's draw the baseline. I've improved. I've grown from 10 to 15. Fantastic. Some other guy has grown from 9 to 42. You can now decide to dissect those reasons. But for now, look at where we are today. Are you honestly telling me that we are okay? I'm making a point for you. I know you're not going to say we are better this season than last season. I think we're probably about the same. However, you want me to answer the question of who is at fault. There's a dual responsibility. The manager that picks the team. Well, I'm answering it. The manager
I don't want that. I don't want to ask you that question.
Okay,
I have more important questions to ask.
Go ahead.
You do say that you did say that yes, we I can't say we are better this season. Are you insisting on that, right? Are you saying we are not better than last season?
I think we're about the same, and I'd say that it's rather disappointing that we're not outperforming last season.
Okay, great. I'll hold on to that's fine for me. So, so that's essentially where we are in terms of where I am as a fan, and that's why essentially I don't see this manager taking us forward. If you at this stage you do not think that we are better than what we were last season, so and you seem to see a lot of positive from this manager, right? And if yourself you are struggling to see how we have improved in terms of year on year, so you should excuse me, someone that I won't call myself negative, someone on the neutral side in terms of I have my own biases. Obviously, I want it in terms of whatever this man do, I struggle to before I give him that credit, and it's understandable why I do that. So
So,
you can't take that away from me if I say then I don't see any
so, so,
progress
so,
because you yourself you
so,
can't say.
so for me, it's this. You need to give people an opportunity to show that they can perform or they can't perform. It will be unfair to push a guy out of the job if he's on track to achieving one of your tangible objectives. But
Okay.
when such manager or players
Mm-hmm.
fail to meet that, then you can then bring in the hammer. So that's always been my position. For now, we're 10th in the league. We are most likely not going to finish in the Champions League places. We're out of the domestic cups.
Uh-huh.
They're probably not going to get into Europe by our league position. There's one
Mm-hmm.
last hope. The manager,
So
for some reason, let me finish. The manager, for some reason, has been able to pull it off once before in a domestic cup, beating top
okay.
teams, and we are now in
Yeah.
a European tournament, which teams that may not be as good as the teams we've beaten. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's only fair to give him a chance because the season is done anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Changing managers now is not going to change
No,
our fortunes.
I'm not sure.
So,
So,
so my point is this:
mhm.
he has one last shot.
So
Allow
yeah.
him. It's not going
So
to hurt.
what?
If he's
Yeah, no, no, no.
successful,
So no, sorry, Victor, for cutting you for this. I need to be clear. I don't want him to be sacked tomorrow. There's no point, right? I don't want him to sack. I'm saying at the end of the season, if he does not get to Europa final or we don't win the Europa League, right? What do you do? What would be your stance at that point in time? We are now ninth at the end of the season. We
oh,
don't
we're
get the
nice now.
Champions League. Yes, we're ninth, right? Let's say we are able to finish ninth. We don't get Europa football. We don't get European Champions League or whatever it is. What do you do at that point in time? It's May 23rd, and we've seen our result. What do you do? That's the point right now.
So I think at that point in time, every rational business owner will need to review the position of the person in charge of the team and say, you know what, we haven't met our targets this year. What are the reasons? What are the reasons for that? Have a deep look at it and decide if the position is secure or there needs to be some more time given. But I will say that at the end of the season, if we do not meet any of these targets, we do not win the Europa League, then if his job is put on the line, I don't have any issues with that. But only at the
Okay,
end of
so
the season.
so essentially, so I think we'll probably be friends at the end of the day because it seems you already made my point, and that's my point. My point is very clear. I've said it. The only reason why we were calling for the Z was when we had a terrible run, and the club stood by him. A
I
good
don't think him
decision.
having a I don't think him having a terrible run was a problem for me. You know, he
It
had earned
was
the he had
it
he
was
had
for
earned the
us.
right. So what I'm going to say, he had earned the right to take us through that and bring us up above water. He earned the right. You know, and
That
unfortunately, and I'll say this: unfortunately, Emery didn't earn that right because he didn't bring anything to the table. When you look down the annals of history and you say Arsenal managers, what did they
mhm,
win? All you can say
mhm,
is, oh, we played out from the back. We had some
yeah,
nice games. We
and we
started.
got to the European final. Yeah,
We
I'm
played
not
in the
going to.
worst fight. So what I'm saying is that he did not have enough credit in the bank,
Mhm,
but he did not have enough credit in the bank. And let's remember that when Emery was sacked, we were actually sinking. We were going down. But when you look at our run this season, even though we're that bad, we went so far up from the top. We just weren't playing well. And it wasn't just Arsenal. I think someone mentioned that if we had won maybe 1 or 2 more games, we'll have been right there in the mix. So it's not as bad as that. But when Emery was sacked, it was clear that this season was done. The gap, what's the word that they use in business? The gap to potential was so huge that it was going to be impossible to bridge it. There's a question on the screen. Can I answer just to clarify that?
Go on, please.
Say won the FA Cup, Community Shield, finished 8th. At the start of the season, my expectations were the same as every season, finished in Champions League places. It's 29th of March now. I know we can't finish in the Champions League places. I need to revise my expectations based on what I see. So that's to clarify. I didn't go into the season thinking we'll finish 10th. But from where we are today, I've revised my expectation and say, you know what? That is where I think we will finish based on best effort. Okay,
so this is valid, right? This is valid, and what you said is clearly logical in terms of, yes, a manager won a cup and had the leeway to get out of the problem. And so if at that point in time, beyond all of this you've mentioned in terms of, yes, we could say over the past 10, 15 games, when you compare and contrast December to now, yes, we've had 1 more games. We have seen changes in the team. People will say the new league table, if you start from there, we're like 4th or 5th, whatever it is. Those are valid things to say. Nobody's arguing that. But what we are insisting on is that we cannot continuously change the bar. When we were going to start this season, like you said, our expectations were very clear. So if for a reason something has gone wrong in the middle, and it's clear that when you want to dissect how this thing went wrong, you can hold the manager and hold the players.
The bar hasn't changed.
The bar has changed if people are saying, no, let me finish, Victor. If people are saying in Arteta's defense that, yes, there's progress, even if we end up being ninth this season and we are playing well, there is progress.
That's what does that mean? Bar.
No, for you, that might not be the case. But for a lot of people that really support this manager, they believe, in fact, you'll be the first person telling me this, saying, oh, at the end of the season, even if we don't have Champions League, let's review it. For the core of his fans, they will tell you it still doesn't matter. But what matters is that there's a process in this.
But so I think we're not here speaking as core of his fans. We are here to speak objectively. Okay. The bar remains the same. Get into the Champions League. The bar, and if you don't, at the end of the season, if you don't get into the Champions League, then you have failed. Not necessarily get out.
Why not?
So let's say this. At the end of the season, if you don't get into the Champions League, then it's clear you have failed. However, it's like how it used to happen in secondary. Sometimes you fail a class, and then you're asked to
repeat
the class. Sometimes you fail the class and they ask you to leave the school because your standard in performance is not up to what is expected in the school. So two students might get the same score, but based on anticipated previous performance, they will be judged different. And that's what I think. At the end of the season, you now need to review everything in perspective and not just judge the failure as an isolated event.
So what would be the perspective that will make you, so for example, yes, we've agreed, the hypothetical situation we're talking about, we don't have the Champions League, we are now ninth at the end of the season. What would be your own perspective that will vote that you say Arteta in? What would be that perspective that will be available at that time?
Oh, we don't have all the facts now because we are not yet at the end of the season.
We are just assuming. I'll be assuming that, so we have two facts that we are assuming, right? One is there's no Champions League football. The second point is that we end up ninth in the league. So at that point in time, that's why I'm asking you, what are the other assumptions that will be key factors for you to say Arteta needs to now stay? Yeah, we didn't meet these targets. Like you said, we reviewed it, we failed this target. But yes, I just think you continue. What are those things you want to see?
So for me, in fact, I'll go out on a limb here. I'd rather we didn't get into Europe at all than only get into the Europa League places, don't win the Europa League, and have to play in the Europa League all over again. So if we're not getting to the Champions League next season, which then I don't think a top 6, top 7 position will cut it. It's a waste of time. A waste of time. I'd rather he be given a fresh slate to focus strictly on the league. So in terms of, I heard something on Talksport a couple of days ago. It was funny, although it was in relation to Manchester United. They were saying, oh, if they get into the Europa League final and win it, that's a good season. And then I can't remember who it was, said that, what if they don't win the Europa League, but say they've gone to the Europa League final, lost on penalties? They were like one kick away. It's not as bad as, say, crashing out in the quarterfinal. So sometimes you have to put these things into perspective. And like I said, we don't have all the facts now. So let's wait till the end of the season, then make a judgment based on all the information being available to us.
Okay, so valid. But what you need to think about, if you say you want us to exit from Europe entirely, if we are not going to meet Champions League, is that if you think about the future of the club, and if you say you are concerned about the future state and how we are going to go, then you need to think about finances. And I usually don't want to have this
Oh no, we can have that. I know we can have that. Can have that conversation because someone said we have players on Champions League. Of course. But the thing is that if you're consistently playing in the Europa League and you can't get out of it, you're consistently playing the Europa League, you can't win it, you can't qualify for the Champions League, then maybe you are not a Champions League club. Maybe you need to get rid of all your expensive players and have cheaper players on lower wages who are going to give you the same results in 10th place. Because I don't see the reason why a club like Arsenal should be playing in the Europa League every season. If that is our true level, then get rid of all these expensive players and let's have average players and finish 10th and 11th and know that we're not playing in Europe, we're managing ourselves. And maybe we can have the strength enough to build our way back up.
So do you think that, are you part of the proponent or the school of thought that for things to get better, it needs to get worse?
No, I'm not.
So essentially that's what you're saying, because Europa
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Because
the thing about it is that I'm speaking for myself. I'm tired of watching the Europa League. I'd rather not watch anything than have to watch.
That's you. That's you.
But that's why you have your own view.
Yeah,
so the thing about it is that if we can't win the Europa League, then that should tell you that as a club we're not good enough.
Why would you say we can't? We just got to the final for the first time in 3 years. We've never been to the final before. We got to
the final of the Europa League. Okay, in the current format, yes.
Yes, we did not. So now we got to.
So I'll say
we're just one step in, just like you mentioned, right? We were already one step in. When Chelsea was going to win the Champions League, they got to the final first.
Okay.
And they lost. And then they tried again.
I want to say something funny. Why was Lampard sacked as quickly as he was sacked? He had nothing else in the bag.
No,
that's
it wasn't
the point.
that. No,
he
that's
had
not
nothing else. He had nothing
the point
else.
Is very clear, and we know
he
why.
Had no more. He had no. One second. Let me finish. He had nothing else in the bank. There was nothing else. All the emotional credit that he had built, club legend, all of that was all wasted, and he had nothing to point to say, okay, at least I did this for you. Give me till the end of the season, for example.
What Lampard did for Chelsea's first season is monumental. It took a team that did not. Let's be clear.
I don't believe it's any more special than Arsenal playing against playing with a back four of Senderos, Sigan. Let me finish. Arsenal playing with back four of Senderos, Sigan, having a Bue, having some jokers in midfield, and finishing in the top four every season. We did it with worse players under Wenger, so it's nothing special.
What do you mean it's nothing special?
Arsenal finished in the top four.
Because the manager knows what he's doing.
1 second.
You can't do that.
So what I'm saying is that finishing in the top four, finishing in the top four without something tangible. You said what he did last season. Let me use your word. So what he did last season was monumental, yes. And I'm saying it wasn't monumental because all he did was finish in the top four.
Okay, so
didn't Arsenal go a season? One second. I remember we went one season without signing an outfield player. That was that. So my point is, they didn't sign any players. They finished in the top four. We had worse players than the Chelsea squad of last season. We finished in the top four. What's so special? We've been there, done that. We have the T-shirts.
Okay,
if Arteta does what?
So if Arteta does the same thing that you're talking about, right? Because now you mentioned clearly that your expectation now is Champions League football, right? Champions League football, and that is top four. So for you to say someone that
Champions
got
League
it,
football is not necessarily top 4, but carry on.
what's the standard way of getting Champions League football?
You can win the Europa League and get into the Champions League.
If you are not in
So
the Europa League,
just putting
what's
it
the
down.
standard?
Just putting
You are not
it
even. No, they were in the Europa League, right? You are not even in the Europa League.
Who are you
So how
talking
do you get
about? Sorry.
Chelsea.
Who? So they even had it easier because they had no European football to contend with.
That's not the point. The point
No,
is
but
that
it's a fact. They had no European. Didn't they play in Europe last season? They did, didn't they? Chelsea played.
I think they were in Champions. I think they were in Champions League themselves. Anyways, I can't remember.
Fair enough.
I'll confirm that. But the point is that this guy took a team, and they did not have any opportunity to bring in any players. He sat the team down, was able to get them Champions League football. That's good enough. The main reason why he was sacked last year, when he was sacked, was not because he had no anything. It was because the management and the hierarchy in that club does not take rubbish for management. They see the management role as a very serious role that they don't joke with it. If Arteta did the same run in Chelsea, whether he had won FA Cup or not, he will be sacked. Di Matteo was sacked for something less than that. Di Matteo's role in terms of in Chelsea won them the first ever Champions League in their career, in their life. Someone won you the Champions League and did not even get.
I want to make a point. I want to make a point, but I won't make it because it's funny.
No, let me finish, Victor, right? The point is that Chelsea will sack, in fact, Chelsea has sacked even far better managers that have won them things, right? So the fact that he was sacked was not because of anything. He wasn't good enough for them, and they just let him go. Whether he has won anything or not was not the issue. And they will do the same thing to Arteta if it was in their
The point I'm trying to make is you have an employee who is underperforming. As long as he has emotional credit with you, you keep giving him opportunities to perform. Once you
it's not emotional, it's business.
Can I finish? As long as he has credit in the bank, whether it's emotional or whatever, you keep giving him an opportunity to perform. But an employee that doesn't even have anything in his account, he'll be given less time. He'll be treated with the utmost brutality. That's the point I'm making. So the standards at Chelsea and Arsenal are different. Chelsea are historically ruthless with their managers. So when Lampard took that job, he should have known that if he did not perform and deliver on the set targets, he will be gone. Arteta knows the same thing.
So what were the set targets for this season? What were the set targets for Lampard this season?
Wait 1 second. 1 second, I'll let you finish. Arteta knows the same thing. Remember that the targets are set between the board and the manager. Sometimes we know them, sometimes we don't know them. For Arsenal, it's fairly obvious. Just getting the Champions League. For Chelsea, win everything winnable. It's a different target. You didn't even win the FA Cup. You lost to an Arsenal team that was struggling in the league with a manager with a manager with less experience than you. Come on, you even have less in the bank. At the end of that FA Cup final, I'm sure if you check Lampard's account, he will have gone into debits because he shouldn't have lost that final to Arsenal. You understand what I'm talking about?
At this point, you are making, I don't know.
However, but for the Arsenal, our standards have always been different. You might say that our standards the bar is too low. I would agree with you if you say the bar for success at Arsenal is pretty low. However, in recent times, we've shown ruthlessness, and we need to keep that same energy. We did it with Wenger, we did it with Emery, and I believe the axe is coming for Arteta in his time, but he will get the opportunity to prove us wrong. I really want him to prove everyone wrong so that he can buy himself some more time, another 18 months. But if he doesn't deliver, then of course his head's on the chopping board.
Anyways, I don't want us to be talking about Chelsea, Lampard, and Alco because a lot of things you said in terms of Arteta even beat Pep himself, right? He beat Pep on that run to the FA Cup final, right? So beating the fact that a struggling team beats you does not mean anything. Like I said, as at the time Lampard was asked in this season, he has not failed any target this season. That's just the truth. But they saw that this run is just not good enough for a team like them, and they asked him. So, anyways, that's the
same point. That's the same point I made.
They did not even allow him. They didn't allow him. That's
the same point I made. That's the same point I made. That's the same point I made. One
See,
second.
the only
One second. That's the same point I made with Emery. They didn't even allow Emery the opportunity to bring us out. He had nothing in the bank. They said, boy, bye. But with Arteta, they allowed him because he had brought something to the table. He was like, hold this one. I said, okay, let's see. And then it seems like we're coming out of it. But if it continues for long, they were like, you know what? You used up that FA Cup credits. There's nothing in the bank. You got to
it's
go.
fine. It's fine. We already moved on from whether he was supposed to be sacked then or not. We saw it. We felt that obviously he needs to get the chopping board. He did not. Fine. What we are saying now is that, yes, it's clear that at the end of the season, we need to make a decision. What kind of decision are we going to make? Like you mentioned, and is right, and I think everybody will agree with you, we need to improve on last season. And for me, it's two things. One,
All I'm
like
going to say is, if Arsenal wins the Europa League, there's no decision to be made. Arteta is in the job for another 18 months.
so
Period.
nobody's going to doubt that with you, right? It's clear, and that means you get Champions League football. So that's what we are saying. The decision is very clear. So you can
So
only
you're saying
there are
if Arsenal
two
finish
improvements.
14th, are you saying if Arsenal finish 14th and we win the Europa League, you'll be okay with it?
I'm not okay, but the board will be okay with it, and I cannot question that. I'm
But
not going
then
to be okay.
now you are
For
agreeing with my
me,
point.
no, for me, this point is this. For me, as a fan, what I'm interested in is improvement, year-on-year improvement. If you, as a manager, you've come to a club, you've gotten additional, you've made decision on the team. You looked at the team, you dissected the team. You look at, okay, this person is not good enough. How? This person is not good enough. Loan. This person is not good enough. Banish. This person is good
Okay.
enough. I want him. This person, just came back from loan. I'm not going to sell him. I want him in my team. You
Okay,
made
so
decision on the
forget
team.
results. Do you think there are any improvements in the team since Arteta became manager?
So the only improvement I've seen started just this after December. So earlier I saw a team that was a cup-based team in last season, right? In our Premier League form, we did absolute shite, especially after COVID. We were drawing games we could win. We didn't play well. But what we did was we focused on the FA Cup games, and they were just 3-4 games, right? The former manager had actually won one of. If the former manager did not do like him, because if the former manager had done like him, he wouldn't actually find any FA Cup to actually fight for. So the former manager was winning the FA Cup matches. He came in and won the rest, which is fine. And we came into this season absolute peace.
I need you to check
I
need you to check your stats well about the former manager and FA Cup.
Ateta did not start the FA Cup game, right? Did he?
When was Emery sacked?
He was sacked in November.
FA Cup for Arsenal begins first, second week in January.
Really? Sorry, okay. Anyways, I take that back, if that is the case. Anyways, what I'm saying in essence is that he won the FA Cup, which is clear. The Premier League, we did not perform very well last season. So at the start of this season, terrible. This is like the worst we have ever been since I started supporting Arsenal, which is very, very recent. Anyway, so for people that are 40, 50 years old supporting Arsenal, that's fine. For me, ever since I started supporting Arsenal, this is the worst we've ever been. So at the turn of the season, right, at December, yes, we can start to see the Arsenal team coming back. But again, it's still not good enough for me. I, as an Arsenal fan, I'm used to attacking football. And I've looked at this manager, and that's one of the serious criticisms I do have of him, is I do not see him as an attacking coach or attacking manager. I see him that he's more of a pragmatic manager, which is fine. It's totally okay. Managers have their ways that they are going to win football matches. It is fine. I don't have any problem. I don't want that kind of manager in my team. If I'm the one making that decision for Arsenal, I want an attacking coach. This manager if he has only been in football management as a head coach or head manager for just 18 months, and everything he has shown that he's more of a pragmatic manager. So for me, that's where the worry is, and that's why for me at the end of the season, if the only thing that will make me like, okay, let me just be calm, is he has met his target. And what will be the target for me? Is either he gets us into Champions League football or he improves on the last performance. So for example, if he gets like 6th or 5th and he doesn't even win Champions League football, right?
Before you finish this point, I just want to ask you a question on something you just said. How do you win football matches? Where does it start? Where do you begin?
By scoring goals. That's where you win football matches. That's how you win football
Do you play
matches.
football?
Yes, I do. That's how you win football matches. You score goals. If you don't score goals, you cannot win. There's no way in the world you can win.
What if the other guy scores more goals than you?
And you lose.
So
Right.
shouldn't that tell you that you should
So if
start
you-
by making sure you don't concede?
No, that's not the point. That's not the only way to win football. In fact, it's
Okay,
clear
so-
that it's even clear. The Premier League is showing us correctly now. If you look at the bottom half of the table, it's actually people that cannot score goals. It's not because of anything. They cannot score goals. That's why they are there. If you cannot score goals, you cannot win the league. That's just the way
So
it is. You cannot be
maybe
in top
maybe
four.
you misunderstood my point. We have
Okay.
one of the most prolific strikers in Europe in our squad. We can
Mhm.
clearly score goals.
No,
Well, it
if
just
the,
appear- let me
the
finish.
striker can.
Let me finish.
this-
Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. We have one of the most prolific strikers in the world. Let me even give Oba some credit. Who can clearly score goals.
Mhm.
However, you notice that as long as you keep leaking goals, all those goals will never count.
What do you mean by that?
For me, I believe even though I play as a forward, I believe that you start to win games from the back. Keep it tight at the back. Have a solid midfield. Don't make a mistake. Give the ball to your forwards. They take their chances and you score. That's all. One thing I'd say is I don't think in the last maybe 2 to 3 years we have had as good a defensive pairing, or we haven't had as great defensive options as we've had this season. I'm tired of looking at stats, so you probably will be able to tell me the stats, whether we are conceding less than before. If we're conceding less goals than before, then for me, I see that, okay, that's a platform we can build on. So what happens is that you're conceding less than before, you're tighter. I know when you start to defend more, you have less chances for your forwards. What then that means is that your forwards need to be more clinical. When they get their chances, they put away their chances and they don't miss it. And then from your midfield, no more silly mistake. One thing I always joked about Emery was that Granit Xhaka was the hill he was going to die on. His insistence in playing Xhaka, backing him all through, pretty much cost him his job because he was going through a rough patch. Couldn't use the guy, made the guy look really, really bad. But I'd say this for a fact that I seem to be able to now see an improved Xhaka. A bit less mistake, one or two will come up surely, but a bit less than before, a bit less petulant. And of course, since that red card, he's tremendously improved. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Granit Xhaka is our captain. Everything goes through him. As long as we can get him to play well, we will play well.
So what is the evidence that you have that you actually need the defense win football matches? Because we have 2 seasons that we can use for Arsenal right now. We have an Emery season where we shipped in goals. We considered 51 goals that season. And we scored 73 in return. We came fit. Now we have a season now that we are not shipping goals, right? And we are in 9th. So what's the evidence you have? And it's clear, I've told you, if you look at this league table this season, look at it. I can share it, you see. The people at the bottom half are the guys that cannot get goals. So if you come back to, let's be from the back, fine.
Okay, so maybe we need to identify why we aren't scoring as many goals and work on that. I'll say we can start from that. Because I think we should be scoring more goals than we currently score. I think Oba misses too many chances.
No, that's not a fact.
Let me finish. I believe Oba misses too many chances.
It's not a fact.
Hold on. That's why I said I didn't say Oba misses too many chances. I believe, my view, because there are so many chances where he needs to keep it simple. What game was it? Was it the West Ham game or one of this last game where he was through on goal 1-on-1? I think it was the Olympiacos game. And simple side foots to them. He tried to chip the keeper and got it all wrong. So many chances like that, game after game. He misses a lot of chances. If we can be more clinical with our chances, we'll see the goals.
There's no striker in the world, right, that does not miss chances. Victor, we need to be realistic. What is a football match?
But he misses. I'm trying not to
Victor,
make this about Oba.
I'm trying
not to make this about Oba.
You can't do that, Victor. Let's do this, right? Let's do
it.
A football team A football match is a game where the teams will create multiple chances and they will score 2 or 3 goals. That's what a football match is.
Okay, so the summary
So
of
the point is,
so the summary
the
of it
point
is that you need us to score more goals. Fine, I
Yes.
love to watch goals. I love to score goals.
yeah.
But if you are shipping goals all the time, I'm
So
very
you have to get a
uncomfortable with
balance.
that.
You need to
And I
understand.
think,
Nobody's
and
saying
that's
you
where,
should
and it
focus.
goes back to the very first question: is there a process? I
So
believe the
yes,
man.
you
Wait, let
believe
me
there's a
finish. I
process.
believe no. I believe the man is working on the process, and we are waiting to see the outcome of that process. I can see from the stats that we are conceding less goals. I can also see that we are scoring fewer goals than before. So all he needs to now do is, okay, we've sorted out the back. For years, we cried for Wenger to sign a world-class centre back or DM. We never had that opportunity. We seem to now have a mix of that at the back. We sorted out the back. So let's work on being more clinical with our chances. Maybe
No,
it's the tactics.
no, don't use
Maybe,
the word clinical.
but let
Don't use
me
the word clinical.
finish.
Because we are not even missing chances. No, you can't say that. We are not missing chances compared to other teams.
Oh,
You can't
it's
use
not.
the
I'm
word
not.
clinical. Don't use the word clinical. Let's create more chances. When you're,
Are you saying we're
when
not
you're-
creating chances?
we are not creating way enough to where we are supposed to be. That's why we
No,
are where we
no.
are.
One second. You can create 14 chances,
Yes.
and you can create 14 big chances.
Yes.
Chances, score 4
Yeah.
goals, or you can
Good.
create 5 chances, score 5 goals. You're better at creating 5 chances and scoring 5. For me, I don't need the
That
team
is
to
not
have too many chances. I'm speaking personally.
sustainable, Victor.
One
That
second.
is not
I don't need the
sustainable.
team to have too many chances. I'm speaking for myself. Yes, we want the old Arsenal tippy tappy pass the ball
No,
around.
it's not even it's not
One-
an old Arsenal issue.
But you need to
It's
let
the
me. You need
fact
to let me.
about football.
You need to let me finish the point. My view as a football manager, I'll build it from the back. I don't need 20 chances. I need 5
Okay.
chances. I need my strikers to put away 4 of that. And then I need to keep the opposition from having 20 chances. Reduce the number of shots they have on my goal. Keep it tight. Then when I get the chances, I take them. As long as I can keep it tight, I know that I built a base for my strikers or my forward players to take their goals.
Victor, this is football. Football is a game that you need to create chances to win. There is no way you will be efficient in football. It doesn't happen. If you
I
are
don't want to
efficient,
win.
it's not
I don't want to
sustained.
win 5. I don't want to win 5-4.
Nobody's
you know?
asking you to win 5-4.
But that's what you're saying.
Victor,
We were
no,
scoring
that's not the
goals
point.
and our defense was leaking because everyone's
No,
up front. Let me give you an example. It's like when I play FIFA with my younger brother. Oh, I'm on the attack. I'm up front. I'm peppering his goal, and then he gets on the counter attack. Everybody is up front because I'm trying to play free flowing football, and then he scores me on the counter. It was happening game after game. We get a corner, we're about to score. There's a rebound, only Bellerin at the back, and then they get a 2-on-1 and they score. It was happening game after game. If you notice, that has been cut out. But then the impact is that I'm trying not to even talk about. The team is now not as high up the pitch as we would like to be. I personally like to see Oba way high up on the pitch on the left. Isolate him, get the ball to him. He has one defender to beat. He beats his man, he shoots, he scores. But unfortunately, when you have to do a lot of defending, you have less of those chances. But then as long as you build the base, the next thing it is the discipline to be able to take those chances, be calmer in front of goals, maybe shoot more, maybe take a bit more risk when you have the ball. But then it is what it is. That's your view, and that's my view. My view is a low-scoring wing is better than a high-scoring one. As long as
I'm not even saying you need to be high scoring, right? I don't even care. But your premise
the
that
Arsenal team that I know, if we play open football, we're going to get wiped out on the counter.
Why?
Consistently. Why? That's
Why?
been happening.
Why?
Because
is it
that's
the same
the way
set
it
of,
is.
is it the same manager and the same players? Now you mentioned yourself. You mentioned it on this call that for the first time in a long time, we're able to get right quality in the center back and the defensive midfield, right? So why
this
are you
quote
insisting
from,
that we will still go back to the former Arsenal time? And this myth about we are very poor defensively. I'm sorry, that's why we are not. That's not true. If you look at the Arsene Wenger's last season, in fact, one of the major problems we had that season was because we could not score as much as we used to do. These are facts.
Were we shipping goals? Were we shipping goals?
At that point in time, we were in top 5 or top 6 of the goals conceded. The same thing we had this season. If you look at the table right now, we are like number 5th, joint 5th or joint 6th in terms of goal conceded. In fact, in terms of clean sheets, we are way worse. So what are we talking about? You've decided that, oh, okay, you want to be from the back. That is fine. Nobody's having issues with that. But you cannot jeopardize the attacking component of the team just because you want to defend. And that's what the manager consistently do, right? You sit down at the base, you are playing a lower opposition team, a team that is not known to score goals. You still insist that you want to be pragmatic. And that's what I'm saying. It's a point of choice. For me, as far as I'm concerned,
on that point, I agree with you. On that point,
as far as I'm concerned, the manager can be a very good manager. Do I want this kind of manager in my football club? No, I don't. I want an attacking manager. I'm not saying you are going to attack, forget your... What are you even saying? Pep is an attacking manager. We all know that, right? He has considered the least amount of goals this season.
Okay,
right?
So
he has considered the least amount of goals.
What's the difference between this season at City and last season at City?
In terms of what?
Maybe we should pull up the league table and see maybe who's considered the most goals or not. You know what?
Yeah, pull it up. It's there. I checked. He considered the least goal this season, right? And he didn't do that by
help your argument.
He didn't do that by being defensive.
So what's the difference in City's defense this season from last season?
They got quality, no doubt.
They got what?
They got quality in the defense.
Do we have that same quality?
No, you're missing the point. I'm not
trying to make a point. I'm just asking a question.
No, you can say we don't have that enough quality. That's a fact. Nobody's going to debate that with you, right? But we have quality, the same quality Man U has in defense, the same quality Leicester has in defense. I can even argue Chelsea.
Okay, so your point is so the point. What I hear you say is that my point is this. Let me not say so. My point is this: if you have that quality, then maybe you will not have to worry about being so pragmatic, and then we have
the quality that Man U has in defense. We have it, and they are still pragmatic.
We're just talking about
No, leave Man City out of it. Man City is way ahead.
Man City is the case study.
No, I'm using Man U now.
No, you can't just pivot from City to United. Pick one.
No,
we were talking about City.
You are the one that brought this up. I was telling you.
Yes, I brought City.
Attacking football. So I'm saying that
you brought City up actually. No, you brought City up actually, and then you pivoted to Manchester United. I only got into this conversation because you brought City up.
I've ended that.
If you're bringing,
I've ended that. Man City check, and I'll move again to Man U now. Man U is also attacking.
You can have let's have one argument. You made the argument on City with close.
No. So I've retracted the argument, and I'm pushing forward. Yes, I'm pushing forward another argument.
We'll close that chapter.
No. I'm moving forward another argument, which is Man U is doing. I'm saying the same argument, but now I'm changing my example. Man U is doing well attacking wise, and they're also doing well defensive wise, and we have the same quality Man U has in their defense, and they don't have to. The manager does not have to say, "Oh, I don't trust my defense." So 90% of the games I'm going to play, I'm going to be sitting in my own half, waiting for the opposition to make mistakes.
So why do you think that is the case?
I obviously think that the manager, that's how he thinks football needs to be played. This is choice.
Okay, so the other thing you need to realize is that and with all respect to Oli has more football managerial experience than Mikel. So like I said, I think a couple of weeks ago, he's a rookie manager. He's managed less than 100 games. He's a rookie manager learning on the job. It's possible he will learn eventually, but for now, he feels that this is the best system that works for him. Remember, he's still trying to secure his position. He has to do what is best for him, given the resources that are available to him. It may not be the best, but for me, I don't have a problem with that side of the football. If we decide to go out and score 100 goals, we better not be considering 60 or 70. I don't think, same way I said, I don't think we can finish higher than 10th. I don't think we can go all out and not ship a ton of goals right now. Maybe these players in a year or two, they would have grown and developed a bit and will have been a bit further down the line in their development, that they'll be able to cope with everybody going all out.
What players are you talking about? What players are you talking about? Can you mention 5 or 6 of that?
But you just said the players we have are the same level with Manchester United, meaning that what Manchester United defenders are doing in conceding fewer goals, these guys can do it.
Yeah. So why are you saying maybe in 1 year's time? Why? Why do you think they need 1 year to be able to do that?
Because I haven't seen it in them that they'll be able to cope or they are able to play. 2 things: 1, the manager's pragmatic style; 2, they've just I don't see them being able to listen. Look at all the mistakes that happen when we go all out and people are isolated in the middle of the park. Perhaps
which mistakes are you talking about?
1 second. Perhaps the new signing what's his face? Thomas is going to help that. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the best of him. So perhaps maybe when he reaches full fitness, we will start to be a bit more adventurous with the ball. It's a possibility, and I'm open to that. But all I see is a manager unwilling to risk conceding goals on the
which players
platter
are you
of scoring goal. Your Arsenal players. I don't have to name them.
These players, do you know that most of these players currently now, they are essentially a new team in that defense? Do you know that? Do you know? For example, Tierney is a new player. Gabriel is a new player. Mari is a new player.
This is Tierney's 2nd season.
He's a new player. He didn't play anything last season. He was injured for like half of the season.
Don't say he didn't play, but he played games. He's not a new player.
He's a new player as far as Arsenal is concerned. He's a new player.
He's in his 2nd season. He's not a new player. It's not a new player.
Understand what I'm saying. You cannot
I'm calling you out. He's not a new player.
No. What I mean is this: you cannot attribute the yesteryears.
Gabriel is a new player. Gabriel is a new player.
Okay, understand. You cannot attribute the yesteryears of Arsenal shambolic defending. You cannot attribute it to Tierney because Tierney is essentially a new player in that system. He's just coming in. This is his 1st full season.
Okay, you know what? We have a new manager. We have all the players are new.
No, that's not the point.
It could have been the manager's fault that the team was shambolic. So now the bad manager is gone. This is a new manager. It's a new system. If that's your argument, I'll go with you on that.
My argument is simple. My argument is that the point around, you have to wait for these guys to be good enough to.
I didn't say that.
That's what you're saying. That you don't see them.
That's not what I'm saying.
Maybe we need to wait for 1 year or so. What are you not saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Don't quote me out of context. I'm saying that the manager has chosen to play in a certain way that I actually like because it prevents us from conceding. It's also possible that
keeps us at night.
1 second. It's also possible that the manager doesn't yet have confidence that these players will be able to play in a system where they are more exposed.
So, have you seen any manager change their tracks in terms of, this manager that is an attacking manager comes to a team and decide that, this team is not good enough, the defense is not good enough, let me go defensive for the whole season? Can you remember anyone?
Please share with the house.
No, it doesn't happen. That's the issue. So even when Pep Guardiola came to the City team, right? Even when he had that last season where the defense was not good enough, that did not make him.
You're making my points for me.
The point, no. I'm not making your point for you.
You are.
No.
Just
my
be
point,
careful.
I'm making my own point. My own point is that regardless of the quality of the team, the manager will play the best way he thinks football needs to be played. And this manager has shown enough for me to know that he's not an attack. It's okay. I don't know why we're having this discussion. It's okay for him not to be an attacking manager. But do not tell me that, he's only being defensive because he thinks the players are not good enough. That's not I don't buy it. He has only been in football for the past 18 months. But what I've seen clearly,
when wasn't this team shipping goal? Okay, so what he did now was he shipped out. He said, okay, it's a new team, so he shipped out the old guard, the likes of Papa, Kolasinac, Mustafi. Okay, those were the guys that were making all the mistakes. In your words, I accept. He's brought in a new player. Has he changed the style?
Yes, he has changed Arsenal football style. It's very clear. Everybody can see that.
No. That's not my point. Last season, those guys were in the squad who were playing a certain way. This season, those guys are not in the squad. We're playing the same way we've been playing since he became manager.
He has changed. He started with 3 at the back. He started with 4. He moved to 3 at the back. It wasn't working. later on he decided that, oh, this is going to get him sacked, right? And decided,
So-
oh, the idea I have in my head doesn't translate to what I have, right? And then let me make changes. So he has made the
So he
changes.
made
and now-
he made the changes, and then we progressed and started doing something else.
No, I've not seen him changing anything. He's been on that path.
No,
He's been on.
he went from going with 3 to what is it now, 4, yeah?
Mhm.
So he was working through what he felt would work for the team
Mhm.
based on the players he had. What do you call that? That's a process.
Yeah,
You just
that's
now
fine.
exactly. Remember when we started this session, you said there's no process, but with your own words, you have shown that Arteta actually has a process he's working with. Whether the process is right, whether the process is correct is a different thing.
Oh, okay.
But he has
Okay.
a process. So I think we can rest the first question.
Okay, if for me, I'm concerned about direction, right? So if you have a process and you're going 7 degree nautical miles out of where you're supposed to go, it's no process. So again,
it's just a process that is doomed to fail. It's still a process.
Okay,
so
if
I
you're
agree
talking about
with you.
semantics, so I agree with that.
It's not about semantics.
Right? No, it is, because if you want us to agree with that, well, there is a process, but the process is going to take us to failure. That's just the important thing, anyways. It's the failure part that is important for us, anyways. And at the end of the day, again, like I'll keep saying it, I don't expect him to be sacked tomorrow. I'm not going to call Edu to sack him tomorrow or whatever.
Okay, so the question let me ask this question. End of the season, Arsenal finishes 14th. We crash out of the Europa League in the semi-final. Everybody knows that this dude is gone. Who do you think should come in?
There are a lot of managers. For example, I'll frolic with Nagelsmann. I'll frolic with Nagelsmann a lot. I think he has a good head on his shoulder. I'll also frolic with the Ajax manager, right? Because these are managers that have actually worked with teams that did not have some. Because I look at an Arsenal team, right? I would never expected us to, in the next foreseeable future, and that's when you talk about expectation, to splash the cash, to buy Alan, to buy Pape or whatever it is. We won't do that, and that's a fact. So I need a manager, there's an attacking manager that can work with a team to actually set them on the right path. I also need a manager that has a good track record of winning, right? That's what I want. So I'll follow with Nagelsmann, I'll follow with Ten Hag. Those two guys, they are my list, and I think we have enough to actually to snap them. What's Arsenal pool, man? You slap them in the face and get the managers. We can even get both of them, right? Have Nagelsmann as his manager, and then you have Ten Hag as assistant.
Mauricio has gone to bed. Are you there?
No, I'm really enjoying the conversation. I didn't want to interrupt you guys, so I just kind of let you guys go at it.
I think it's clear for me. I think we've come to a conclusion that yes, there's a process, but the process is going to lead us to failure. So I'm good with that.
No, okay. I didn't come to that conclusion. That's your conclusion. That's your conclusion.
You said that, Victor.
That's your conclusion.
You said that. I
said that if it leads you to failure, fair enough, but it's a process.
Okay, I'll take it again. The process that I see will lead us to failure.
Wow. Okay. I'm seeing some comments in the chat room. Some people are even suggesting something like a phone a friend type situation where I bring in somebody to back up Green Gunner and somebody to back up Bolaji at the same time. Do you guys want that kind of situation?
100%. It's fine. It's okay. Whatever makes
I can bring in Uzi for you, and I can bring in Father Emma for Green Gunner. So Uzi is backing out. Oh, come on.
No, it's fine. Anyways, it's
okay. So we agree that there's a process. Green Gunner, do you tell me how much more time do you think Mikel deserves on this job before we really start to consider maybe cutting our losses and moving on and that
okay.
kind of.
Okay, I'll give this example. When I was in primary school, we used to have these video games. It was like a small thing like this, Game and Watch as they call them. So you play, it's like F1, you keep dodging obstacles. You need to get to a certain checkpoint. Once you got to that checkpoint, you get an extra life. But if your time runs out before you get to that checkpoint, it's the end of the game. Basically, the checkpoint for Arteta will be the Europa League. If he gets to the final and he wins it, he's bought some more time. If he doesn't get there and he has an accident, as someone said in the comments, sorry, bro, you got to go.
Okay, so you are hinging the decision upon whatever happens in Europe.
That will be a decision point. Although during the conversation earlier, I clarified that you will need to put that decision into context, look at everything happened, but then a decision must be had. If the board chooses to stick with him after failing to get us into the Champions League this season, that's on them. But at least in their own minds, they may have had a process to get there. But at least a decision has to be made. Do we keep going with this guy who doesn't look like he'll get us anything better? Or if he does get us something, then of course you back him.
In your opinion, do you think our personnel right now, do you think our personnel is good enough?
There's always room for improvement.
Oh no! You're giving me a politician.
The point I'm making is that our squad hasn't been good enough for the last 17 years. So we were overachieving for a long time.
Let's focus on right now. Do you think I mean, as a supporter of Arsenal that you are, right?
Our squad is not good enough to win the Premier League.
I love your jersey. I wonder though, from season to season, what do you so you said you're tired of watching Europa League, right? So you want to watch the big boy league, right? You want to watch the Champions League, right? So that's your expectation, right? For Arsenal.
That's where I want us to be. However, I'm rational enough to know that sometimes what you want, you can't have it. How
do you think we can get there? And do you think we are? How far off do you think we are, based on the squad that we have and the manager that we have?
Okay, so maybe I'll give you two answers. The first one, we are very close. Just win the Europa League and you're in there, boom. Or some more years of pain in slowly building a team that can challenge. But in terms of getting into the Champions League by a league position, I think we need at least another year. Because I don't think, yes, I agree with the point on the screen. The players are good enough to be top 6. So presently they are underachieving. We are a solid top 6 side. However, to finish in the top 4, there's that extra level that we haven't hit in years. With the middle of Wenger's tenure at Arsenal, we were overachieving. Every year we finished in the Champions. Let me finish. Every year we finished in the Champions League, we were overachieving because we were not spending any money. But we seemed to always make it there. On the last day of the season, Villa will have a breakdown. Spurs will collapse as usual, and we will get there.
That only happened. Wait, 1 second. Twice, right? No, you can't use that.
Let me.
You can't use that.
Spurs crashed twice on the last day of the season. So my point is that we had a bang average score that was getting the Champions League every year, and we're holding our own. And then we seemed to start spending money, and we now couldn't get into the Champions League again. The days when Wenger used to say top 4 was like a trophy, everyone thought he was crazy. Now that's the buzzword. Everyone just wants to get into the top 4. Nobody's talking about winning the Premier League again, which is a shame. Even Ole isn't even talking about the league. He's talking about, trophies are for egos. We just need to get in the Champions League. The mentality has changed. So the man was way ahead of everybody.
So do you think the conversation at Man City and Liverpool right now is about top 4 or the league?
It's about the league. But then, and let me clarify. A club like City, they want to win every single thing in every single country they have their football.
What about Liverpool?
That is, Liverpool managed to get over the mental hurdles. They won the Champions League. They've won the Premier League. They're struggling this year, but you know that their target is to win the league. We have seen that they are solid side. They played some of the best football we've seen in the last 15 years in the league. This year, I don't know what's going on, but they want to win the league. However, in these days, now most.
Do you think Chelsea's discussion let me I'm adding the question so that you can add that also.
Let me finish.
So do you think also Chelsea?
You keep reeling out clubs. So the point is, some other clubs don't have that killer mentality. They're happy just to be in the game. but then they realize the value of being in that Champions League conversation. You talked about finances. When I talked about, you know what, just for me, let's not even be in the Europa League, so I don't have to watch football on Thursday. The Champions League revenue is so huge that you don't even have to do so well in the Champions League. Just get in and get some of that money. Get to the top 4. Get some of that group stage money, and you're good. Roll it over for 3-4 years, and you're solid. We've been hurt in the last couple of years because we've missed out on that Champions League, and we need to get back in there for the good of the club, not just for me who wants to watch football on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Next question.
No, there is no point. I just wanted to actually read into your point around people are no longer talking about winning the league. It's people people that really want to win the league. They care about winning the league. So the point is very clear. As Chelsea is right now, Tuchel going to the next season is giving some additional money or more. Abramovich is telling him, "Guy, win me the league." They're already in Champions League football, right? Man City is also telling Pep Guardiola, "Yes, you won it last time. Win it back to back."
So what's Josh Kroenke telling Arteta?
Of course, because we keep saying, the bar is now low. Josh Kroenke is telling Arteta, "Yes, you've gotten to Champions League this season. Ensure that you don't fall out and ensure you compete."
So when you now see that the standards are different, football clubs are different, you'll understand why Arsenal, in quotes, will stick with a mediocre manager. Which is why I talk about the alliance.
Exactly that point you are making is why we fans are saying enough is enough. If we
there's a misalignment that is slowly coming back.
Yes, there's a misalignment, but the person that is right here is very open. It's clear. The person that is right is the person that wants the best for the team, and the best for the team is that the team needs to be winning, regardless, right? So if we let Arsene Wenger out, and I can tell you for fun that the main reason why Arsene Wenger left was because the fans were growing tired of the man. There were constant boos, there were constant everything. A lot of fans.
And a lot of fans still support him.
Yes, but it was becoming a divisive figure in that club. That's the truth. There were banners. People actually hired planes to actually pick banners.
There were also banners in support of him. There's something Wenger said. There's something Wenger said and no matter how much I respect him, there's something Wenger said I can't remember what year it was. He said that they asked him how long he would stay in the job. He said the moment he sees he can no longer maintain that level of performance, he'll step aside. In his last season, it was clear that Wenger was no longer able to sustain the level of performance that was at, which is why. I'm agreeing with you. So I'm saying that irrespective of what the fans and the media were saying, I don't believe it affected him that much because of the way he lived. Because of the way. Wait, let me finish. Because of the way he lived his life, he insulated himself for a lot of things. Heck, the man lost his family because of his love for Arsenal. Yes, he was so insulated from everything else. But because of the standards, can I finish? Because of the standards he set, I remember when he said this a few years ago, and that season or the season before that, it was clear that you probably don't have it again, so it's time to give it a go. So I think it was more of that rather than the.
Even if you wanted it at that point in time, the pressure was high, and the club had to make a decision. Because again, yes, you can love the football club, you can love football your life, you can be a legend. As fact that you're not the one making decisions to give yourself contract. You are also subject to some set of people, and they are also subject to some sort of pressure. The pressure was really high, and we said enough is enough. We no longer want this kind of football. We want to be competing for the league.
So now that Wenger is gone, are you happy?
No, I'm not even going to talk about whether.
No, it's a question. Are you happy? No, it's not about this decision. Are you happy?
Obviously, we are not happier. So that's why.
Then why did we push him out? Why didn't we just end? Why didn't we just? I don't want to have that
discussion.
Why not now?
I don't want to have a discussion, Victor. The discussion is now that I'm saying if we already have a set standard that we as a club we want to be achieving higher, and now suddenly we are regressing, and someone is telling us, okay, it's okay to regress, no problem, because it's clear that
it's okay to regress.
A lot of people say it's
But I
okay to
didn't say
regress for
that.
this season. I
I
didn't
didn't say
mention your
that.
name either.
I
I didn't
know. I'm
mention your name either.
just putting it out
Yes,
there.
yes. So if people are saying it's okay to regress for a while so that we can go back up, there's no logic in that, because the reason why there's no logic in that is that what you need to have improved performance in football, you have a properly run football club, right? You have money to support your football club. You have your finances. You have
I'm
your
still here, by
training.
the way. I'm
Oh
still
yeah,
here.
no problem. You have every other thing that you need to put in place, right? And then you've consistently invested money in this club over the past 3 years, ever since Wenger left. In fact, what we spent over the past 3 4 years, I'm not sure Wenger spent in his past 5 6 years.
Totally.
And
I support you on that point. I
yeah,
support you on
so
that point.
so so you're pumping in money, and then your graph is still going down, just like when there is red on the Bitcoin charts. Everything's just red, 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 and then someone is saying, "Oh, it's okay to manage this red," because you need to think about it as an investor, as an owner. You're actually putting out money to achieve a purpose, and suddenly it's spiraling downwards. So you need to question how are we going to improve this squad? How are we going to improve in terms of meeting our target? And that's what we are saying essentially, that standard is still there for Arsenal fans. You can argue that maybe
So
the board and whatever
so
it is,
the
whatever it
question
is,
I want
but
to ask is, what do you think we need in the squad now?
right
Both of
now,
us, I think
I think
both of us agree that we
you
need
know, you know
improvements
what
in
I
the
think I need.
squad. What do
You
we
know what
need?
I think we need. We need a new manager by next season, right? We need a new
No, the
manager that will
question is not. No,
identify.
the question is not about the manager. The question, forget the manager. Say we have
Okay,
we have,
let's say we have that
it,
manager, man.
we
We
have
have
that
a.
manager
Let's
in
say we have.
quotes.
Yeah. So what do we need?
What do we need in our squad?
So
Okay,
for me, I
let's make
think
wait just before you answer. Two things. Let's say it's Arteta, for example. What
yeah.
do you think?
But
Is it possible?
I can't give Ateta any player anymore. He has not.
Okay,
To be honest, I'm just. I don't see him.
to be fair, Arteta hasn't signed that many players. He signed a couple of duds, but he hasn't signed that
No,
many
it's not about
players.
a dud. It's not by the dud. Like I told you, the reason I'm not giving Ateta any other player is that it seems to
Okay,
me that I can't even count one or two players that he has made better, right? I can't really count it. I'm looking at that
okay.
team that,
So
this
what
guy
kind
has
of
become
players do we
better.
need to improve the team?
So if I have a proper attacking manager, because I'm not giving Ateta my
Forget the
unfit
manager.
players.
Forget attack.
No, let's be
What?
realistic, right?
Okay,
If I
what
have a
players do
proper
you think
attacking
will improve
manager,
this squad?
yes.
Name.
If I have a proper attacking manager,
Forget the manager.
I, no, I will not, because I won't
Forget
give
the
Ateta my
manager.
own player.
Forget the
Okay,
manager. Just stick
okay.
on the squad.
So because I don't understand how Ateta plays his football, that's why it's difficult for me to give him any player. But if you insist,
You have the right manager in the squad. What players do we need?
so I think that we don't need more than 3 players for the next season for us to be competing.
In
In
which
fact, when I say
positions?
competing, so
In which positions?
one, I need a proper winger, not them William kind of players, right? A proper winger that can take on players and that can do damage. I need a proper attacking midfielder, a proper one. You can argue whether other guy is good enough or not, but if he's not our player right now,
Okay, so
I
the
need
question
one.
I'll ask is currently what's our best squad?
For me, if I look at the team, Leno in goal, the right back is really difficult to choose because we seem to have two average players that they have their
Nah,
strengths and weaknesses.
I take Cedric over Bellerin. Bellerin is done.
Mm,
I take
That's
Cedric
fine.
over Bellerin.
That's fine. I'm not the fan of Luis that much. I do know that he's been playing well, but it's tough because it seems that right central back we really don't have options per se. So I will. Okay, we have Gabriel, we have Mari. Let's say Gabriel starts. Tenny does not have any competitor. We have that. In the midfield, we have Pate, we have Shaka. I'll put Odegaard in there. I'll put
On the
Pepe in my
wings.
right. I'll put Saka on the other side, and I'll put Aubameyang. So that's like the best thing we have right now.
For me, if you'd ask me, I'd say, and this might sound controversial, I'd say put Lacazette in the middle, put
Hmm.
Aubameyang on the bench, and play those young kids on the wings,
Okay,
based on the
it's fair
squad they
enough.
have today.
It's fair enough. I just think it's the way the manager has set up to play. That's why Aubameyang seems to be a terrible player.
So what's the problem
Uh,
with Aubameyang now? You think it's the manager?
yes, obviously, it's very clear. I mentioned it. I can pull out my tweets out in early September, October, where some of my bonds and brothers, someone was talking about, oh, Aubameyang is now defending very well. He's giving. I'm saying you are going to literally kill this guy's career. He's already at his twilight. He's already his graph is already he has already plateaued, and it's going to keep coming now. That's not the point that you
To be fair,
expect a
someone
manager.
saying Chambers are right back in the comments on YouTube, and
No, no,
I don't have a problem with that actually.
which is
I think
valid,
he's
right? Which is valid, right? But the point is that I was saying is that if the manager sets his team not to play to the strength of his players, and that's one of the major issue I have with Arteta again. There are a lot of issues I have with him. The fact that he's not an attacking manager. The second thing that he seems not to get the best out of his players. He essentially seems to intentionally say, "Oh, this team, I don't care whether this is your strength or not. This is how I'm going to play." And it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. Good managers, great managers, they don't do that. You look at your team, you look at the strength of your players, and you play to their strength. That's how you win football, and that's how you are going to compete for the league. That is why Ateta cannot do anything good with his team if you continue this way. Because you have a gunman, a known striker, he's one of the best in the world. You have decided that, oh, the best thing for him to do is to run 100 meters to the post, run 100 meters back,
who's that?
sprinting three,
Pepe.
4, 5 times. No, Aubameyang. Sprinting 4, 5 times within 10 minutes without getting any chances. You set up a team that Aubameyang plays on the shoulder. It's very clear. Aubameyang is far better than Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy continuously is on a goal drop right now, but you continuously see that the team is like, okay, this is how it is. If we do this, do this, do this. There are transitions, there are attacking plays. Everybody understands what they're supposed to do, and that's how you get the best out of your team. Because if this argument around whatever is not good enough, the bane of great managers are the ones that can actually get you know take average players and actually make them better. That's actually how that's how great managers. Again, Agbo, my point is not whether I made my point or whether I'm biased or whatever. The point is clear. Ateta can be a good manager, which is fine. I do not like him because he's not an attacking manager. Except he changes that tomorrow, which I don't see him changing. Then that's my option. Again, I'm not going to call for him to be sacked today. No. But at the end of the season, I don't have Champions League football. I'm still on 8th or 9th. Then there's no points. He has not added any value.
We
All he has
agree.
done
We agree on that then.
so I think that's just my point, and that's why if I'm the owner, I'm not even signing anybody for him. I'm not signing anybody. If we cannot get the best out of what he has currently, then there's no point.
Bolaji, I'm being told that you have your mind made up on Arteta and everything. There's always an excuse. You can't seem to
No,
find something right about Arteta.
no. He has his own good things. One of the things that it seems that obviously if he plays against the top team, especially in cup competitions, because again we overrate some of these things when we say, oh, we play in the league. We are not really. We make some match in the league. Man City battered us and all this stuff. But again, it's okay. He seems to be a manager. Like I said, he's set in his ways. Pragmatic managers can also win trophies. We need to understand that Mourinho is a pragmatic manager. He's winning trophy. This guy Simeone is also a pragmatic manager. He's always going to win a trophy and might most likely win the league this season. Most likely, right? So you can't do that. But do I want someone like Simeone in my team? No. Do I want someone like Mourinho in my team? No. That's the point.
I guess the thing is you do not agree with his managerial style. Fair enough to you. That's your
Good.
view.
Yeah.
But it seems possible that the pragmatic style works. So perhaps we don't have enough quality to execute the pragmatism that he's trying to bring to the squad. So if that is your point, then possibly, if indeed we do get the players that can execute the manager's plan, perhaps the results will be different.
So yeah, great. You have a point. But a pragmatic manager will probably not stay in an Arsenal team for a long time.
Well, let's see how well we do by the end of the season. For me, it's always
No,
at the end of the season you appraise your performance, you take your lessons, and you decide what you want to do going forward.
but you do know that some clubs will actually boot you out whether you're winning or not. They're
But
not
when
playing
Arsenal
attacking
is not
football.
some clubs, you know,
No, do you
Arsenal is
think
not some
Arsenal
clubs.
is an attacking football club based on your experience? At least I don't know when you started supporting them or not.
I don't care about how we were in the past, you know. What I care about is us performing to our maximum potential at the time based on the resources that we have, you know. And if the
So,
manager feels that this is the best way he can get the best out of his players, then so be it. If that's the hill he wants to die on and it ends up being a disaster, then you know he'll pay for it with his job. But if he's successful, then he all he'll have done was prove all the naysayers wrong.
well, it's okay. I think that's something I can't argue. It's your prerogative to choose how you want it to be. But it's very clear for me, Arsenal as a football club, as far since I know them, maybe because I only know them with a manager, right? Arsenal is an attacking football club. Whether you are going to, change overnight because of one manager, which is valid, but it's very clear to me that with the way this club is set up, a pragmatic manager, even if he wins trophies, will probably not last because the fans will always yearn for more. The fans are used to a total kind of football for the past 25, 30 years. And if you really believe that you want the one for the future, then it's better you look for an attacking manager that can give you that same. Let's say, for example, Arteta can get you to point A, right? And you also have Mikel,
So
another
my
manager that
my
can.
my
I'm coming.
point.
You have
Okay.
wait, I'm coming. You have another manager that can get to that same point A. But Arteta is going to use defensive component. He's going to use the pragmatic football to get to point A, while this other manager is going to use attacking style to get to point A. I'll
I'll
think
say
for a team that contain or a team that actually thinks or cares about future, they should go the other way. Because
so
even if this is successful, people will come
I'll
back
say
and
two
yearn for more.
things. At the end of the day, you have objectives. You want to get to those objectives. I think it'd be foolish to prescribe the process to follow. What's important is these are your targets. You're an adult. You're a manager. Do what you need to do to get them. So you're telling me that if with this pragmatism, Arteta becomes successful, wins trophies, you will still not be happy. I'll give you an example. Dave Moyes came into West Ham. They did okay. They finished. I think they had a top 10 finish. I think they finished ninth. Oh, boring, boring. David Moyes is boring. Contract ended. They didn't renew him. They didn't renew
Mhm,
it, and they went through the
mhm,
motions. And then
mhm.
eventually they're like, you know what? This dude was actually doing okay. And they brought him
Yeah,
back, and you can see
because
this.
because it's
And you
West
can
Ham.
no. Forget the clubs. I'm trying to make a point here. Sometimes that pragmatism will pay off. It may not pay
It's,
off. But if so, all I'm saying is let's see if it pays off or if it doesn't pay off.
I'm not even going to.
Pragmatism has been shown to pay off. You've given two examples. Mourinho,
That is why. So again, you need to understand my own
true.
arguments. My own argument, my own argument is not whether pragmatism is going to pay off. My own argument is if you say you really care about that long-term process of the football club, right? If you say, oh, it's the long term that you care about, the future that you care about, then as far as you are concerned, you need to also think about sustainability. And I'm telling you, with this fan base within Arsenal Football Club, pragmatism is not a sustainable approach.
Okay,
If you start, if you
I want to
start
say
with pragmatism
something.
today, yes, you are going to get
We
your trophy, but the fans will come back again and will ask for more, and then you have to stop that process.
if
That's
we,
a
so
fact.
the thing about it, we
We've
went
seen
nine.
clubs like that.
Wait 1 second. We
Yeah.
went 9 years without winning anything. We're playing some beautiful football, some
Hmm.
amazing football. We had Sesk in the middle. We had all of that. We won nothing.
Hmm. Hmm.
We wanted trophies.
No, we want
You,
something.
we-
What do you say? We want nothing. We want FA Cups.
I said we went 9 years without winning anything. We
Okay.
played some of the best football we'd seen in that period. We
Hmm.
won nothing. There was a beautiful
Hmm.
night in 2010 against Barcelona, wherein a young Jack
Hmm.
Wilshere, controlled
Hmm.
the midfield. We still won nothing. We got nowhere.
Hmm.
So you're telling me now, all are clamoring for winning and trophies. You got a manager who's coming, playing a different style. If he's successful, you're going to say that, you know what, I don't care about your trophies. I want good football. You need to pick what you want. Do you want trophies?
No.
Wait, let me finish. I let you. Do you want trophies or do you want to enjoy attacking football? You can have both. Wait, exactly. I'm saying you can have both. But right now, I don't think you can have both at this club.
Why? Why not? Why?
Do you have the quality to do that?
Why can't we have the quality?
No, it's not about why can't we. Currently, do you have the quality for that?
Yeah, sure.
We
have the quality to win. Yes, to win FA Cup.
Okay. No. That's not my point. Do we have the quality to play the football you want to see and win and be successful in?
What does success mean to you?
Let me finish. In getting silverware at the same time, I don't think we can. I don't think we can, because you have your views. My view is that with the way we have and the quality we have, we can't play that style of football that we all love and be successful, because we're going to keep shipping goals. However, should we improve the
why are we
overall
going to keep shipping goals
let me finish.
When we've improved? No, you do that a lot. But let me
finish.
Why are you saying we'll keep shipping goals when we've literally changed the defense over the past couple of years? We've changed defense. So you've not tested this defense. This defense have never been a team that is attacking. So why would you say that?
Your point was that the fact that the reason we are not scoring as many goals as we should is because we are defending more.
Because
that tells you that,
team.
Are you the manager? No. Do you see the players on daily basis? 1 second. No. The manager is using best endeavor to say, you know what, let's be pragmatic, let's keep it tight at the back, take our
chances. That's not a valid point, Victor. A lot of managers.
That what the manager is doing?
No. Say a lot of managers.
That what this current manager is doing?
So were we with Lampard in training? Were we Lampard in training? We decided to bench some players and think that these players are not the right. It's not the right set. We don't see that. You can't use. And they sacked him. That's what I'm telling you. So the fact that a manager, you can't use that.
Allow this manager do what he wants to do.
No, Victor.
And if he's successful,
I will allow him. If he's successful, good. It's not successful. That's the point.
Then don't say it's not successful. We're still in something. Let's see. We both agree
yourself. You mentioned that your expectation is now 10th in the league. Is that success to you?
Success to me is getting into the Champions League. Okay. There's still an opportunity to get into the Champions League outside the league position. So I'm still open and waiting to see what happens.
Okay. So at the end of the season now, we don't get that Champions League. That is a failure.
Then it's a bad season that needs to be reviewed.
Not a failure. It's a failure. That's the first thing. The first thing is a failure. Then you can then start asking questions, why is it a failure? The first thing it's a failure.
It's a failure. I already said that before. It's a failure. But then when there's a failure, you need to you now need to evaluate what's the cause of the failure. Is it a systemic issue? Is it human error? Is it environmental circumstances? You look at all of those and then you take a decision on how to move forward.
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear that obviously if it's a failure at the end of the season, we know. If you have to improve the squad and you have to choose between changing the players and changing the managers, we know the right thing to do, and we know the most logical thing to do.
I don't think changing managers is the only solution.
What other solutions?
I didn't say it's sometimes. What's the word? Sometimes this pragmatism that you seem to think is useless bears fruit.
No, you are missing the point. You are missing the point. I never said that.
Okay, no, drop that. It's like the parable of the wheat, and it's like the parable of the wheat and tares. They were the sower planted, the farmer planted it, and at night the enemy came and sowed tares. And his guys were like, you know what, let's remove them. Like, no, wait till it's harvest time. When it's harvest time, you easily know which is the wheat, which are the tares. And that's what I'm saying. Let's wait till the end of the season, review the performance, and take your decision.
So
but don't just write him off when there's still something to play for.
No, you can write him off based on.
No, you don't have to write him off.
You are not wrong. You are not wrong if you write him off.
Last season, the season was written off, and he salvaged it. So last season the season was written off, and he salvaged it. He gave us an unexpected piece of silverware. So now that we are still in a I may have changed my tune if we're say going to play in the League Cup final only, or still in the FA Cup out of the Europa League. But we are still in the hunt for something big. So
Okay.
all I'm saying is, let's see. If it doesn't pan out, then take a decision. Don't write him off yet, because he just might pull another rabbit out of the hat.
No, it's okay. He should pull it. That's fine. I'm okay with whatever he does. Whatever, if he wins trophy, it's for good for the Arsenal. That's totally okay. Pragmatic football win you games. They win you trophies sometimes. Is it sustainable in a club like Arsenal? I don't see it. And if we care about future, let's start working on our future now. There's no point going in the left direction to come back to the right
Just
direction.
wanted to react to a comment from Busari Quadri. So we finished 8th last season. We won the FA Cup. My expectations for this season were to finish in the Champions League places. However, based on how the season has panned out, we are halfway through. We're a couple games to finish. I don't expect us to finish in that. When I say I'm expecting a 10th place finish, I'm saying based on where we are, that's where I think we will finish. It falls short of where I thought we should finish at the start of the season. 10th place was not my expectation at the start of the season. However, 10th place is where I expect the team to finish. And I'm also hoping that I'm pleasantly surprised and that we perform better than 10th place. When we finish below 10th place, I'll be disappointed. If we finish above 10th place, I'll be absolutely delighted.
No, it's okay. It's fine, but it's clear that in terms of performance this season, we've not been up to par. So if someone is being careful about
the season is not over. We're in the running for the Europa League. The season. So my point is, the season is not yet over. So you can't write the guy.
The season is over in the Premier League, isn't it?
No. I didn't say the Premier League.
No. So wait.
Hold on. I'm speaking. I said this. I was particular. I didn't say the Premier League is not over. The season is not over. We are still playing for places in the league. We are still playing for places in the. We're still playing for Europa League. It's not over. There's a mathematical possibility that the team finishes in the top 4. I don't believe that's going to happen. Listen, I don't believe that is going to happen, but that possibility still exists. There's a possibility that we win the Europa League. I hope we do. We also may not do it. But as long as you are still in the hunt, I believe that it's only fair to give whoever is in charge that trust and say, okay, show us what you can do.
So what if the person is... So yes, it's fine, right? You have a point to say, oh, when you're still... But what if what you've seen in the past? So how do you judge people really? People that you're meeting or people you meet today, or when you want to get a new employee to your team or you want to engage someone, how do you judge them? You judge them by the past. So if you look at the performances...
And he has shown that he can win cup competitions.
Yes.
So based on that, I'm like, you know what?
He has shown that he can win cup competitions. He has also shown that he can lose cup competitions. He lost in this Europa you're talking about last season, right? He lost.
And then he won the FA Cup. Now he's out of the FA Cup, still in the Europa League.
So he can still lose this Europa Cup. There's a possibility.
And then he can still win. So it's a question of whether it's hard.
So if I decide to stay on the other side,
you can then decide to stay on the other side too.
It's fine.
That's the point.
But what we need to agree on is that at the end of that season, both sides, when the result comes out, we need not now to put any context anymore. When the result comes out, right, we expect him to, for example, let's say, for example, I'm the other side of saying, oh, I don't expect this guy to win Europa. And you're the other side, you expect him to win. And when it's at the end of the season, he has not won Europa. There's no need to be doing any analysis.
Okay, that's not how I will conduct an appraisal review. You know,
no,
because when you conduct an appraisal review, you bring all the facts. You put context to the performance. That is the only way you can have a rational discussion on performance.
Yeah. So I've asked you this question earlier. So what are those contexts that will make you for him? And I think you mentioned something around gets to the final, just loses by penalty.
I don't even want to speculate. All I'm saying is that now we don't have all the facts in place, and we don't have all the facts in place. So a little bit more patience. Let's see how it pans out. When it does pan out, we can take that decision and take it with the benefits of having all the information required. That's why you provide management information.
So let me ask you
Data.
this question, Victor. Let me ask you this question. For example, we do end up 12th, right? And we get back into the Champions League football, right? So in the league, we end up 12th, and now we're back in the Champions League. So next season, what will be your expectation?
To finish in the league places in the to finish in the Champions League places in the league.
Via the league or qualifying by?
I just said
via
to
the league.
finish. I said to finish in the Champions League places in the league.
Okay, for someone that the first season came 8th, the second season regressed to 12th, do you think that's a feasible expectation?
So for someone that finished 8th and 12th, he finished 8th, finished 12th, but won the Europa League and got the Champions
Yes.
League. That trumps it all.
So do you think? Yeah, no, it's fine. That's why we are keeping him, right?
It buys
But
him
do you
more
think?
time.
Yes, great. So do you think if you set that target for him to be in the first top 4 the next season, is a feasible expectation?
It's a good expectation.
But it's clear from performance that this person doesn't do well in the league. He's
So
papering
which is
over
why.
the cracks.
So the thing about it is
It's
that
clear that
when
he's papering over the
so
cracks.
the thing about it is
league
that
performance
one
will show you
second.
consistency.
You have an objective to finish in you have an objective to get into the Champions League by any means. You fail. I'm using the word fail. You fail by virtue of your league position. You get in by some other tournament. In the next season now, the target is not to get into the Champions League. The target is to get into the Champions League by the league places. Because every time you hit a milestone, you need to raise the bar.
The bar, good.
You need to raise the bar. So and when you raise the bar, if you replicate your previous performance, it's no longer good enough. So that's how you set expectation. But you can't have the bar so high at the beginning when you are down low. Like last season. So let me just finish the point. Last season, he came in to steady the ship. Did he succeed? He pretty much left us where he met us. But we got a cherry on the top of the cake. We got a trophy. Fantastic. This season now, we were supposed to kick on and finish at least finish in Europe. We are probably not going to finish in Europe. But if by some stroke of luck we managed to get into Champions League, you know, that's an achievement that you. But then, because you are now a Champions League team, you want to sustain that level. So you need to get back in the Champions League position. And like someone quoted, what's his face that won the Champions League? Di Matteo came in after AVB was sacked. He won the Champions League and he was expected to kick on. He wasn't kicking on. The team wasn't doing well. And what happened? He was sacked. And that's the process you follow.
Do you know how poor that run was before he was sacked?
Tell me.
It wasn't as poor as Arteta's run.
But then that's the thing about it. You're talking about Chelsea and Arsenal. The standards are different.
My question is this. My question is very easy. Now, this person came 8th the first season. He steadied the ship. The second season, you set the target, be back in Europe, first by league places, because that showed consistency, right? Now you've decided that, okay, the other option is, if by chance you're not able to get it, just go through a cup competition. Bravo, you did that. You failed the first one, you did that. And now I'm asking you, what is the next target?
Okay, so
the target is very clear. The target is, let me finish. The target is very clear.
Okay.
The target is that now be in top 4. And I'm asking you, you can see the graph. Someone first season 8th, second season 12th, and you expect that same person to go to 4th. How does that even is it logical, really?
So my point is that you need to raise the bar every single time. And that's what I'm saying, that we already said the bar was low. But because you delivered something outside the box, it means that you have the capacity to do it. And so you raise the bar to push the manager. If the manager is unable to deliver on that, then you've given him ample opportunity to prove himself. You need to raise the bar every single time you hit a milestone. I think your view is that, I'm Arteta in without any option. I'm saying that, you know what, this is the process you must follow. If you're able to achieve this, we move to the next level. If not, sorry, your journey ends here. If when all things considered, we don't feel you best effort to deliver on the best possible outcome?
No, I think my point is this: to actually know whether a team is improving, performance-wise, league is that's the most logical way to actually measure performance. Where we are going to be true to yourself. So I'm saying that if someone consistently wins 10, 15, plays in a 10, 10, 12. Wait,
What
let me
I'll say to
finish.
that, no, I'm responding
It's
to that. I understand the point. What is the most important thing for this club at this time? Is it to finish between second and fourth, or to be in the Champions League first? Sometimes you just want to get on that bus. When you get, it's like people who go through the Sahara Desert to get to Europe. All they want to do is to get to you. When they get to Europe, they will arrange how they will legalize their and all
That's
that.
not how
For this club,
football team works.
one second. I'm just using an example. All in their that's on their mind is that let me get to Europe. Once I get to Europe, I know I'll make it. I'll be legal. I'll find a way
Okay,
to
so let me
legalize.
ask this
Well,
question.
let me finish. So right now, all we need to achieve is to get back into the Champions League by any means possible. Once you
Even
do
if we are
that,
relegating, even if we are going to go to relegation.
once you do that, historically, that's not happened. But I will what's the word? I will indulge you. I will indulge you on that. So let's just even leave that. The goal for now is to get into, once you get into the Champions League, the question now becomes, Mr. Arteta, you are a Champions League manager. For this season, you must ensure that we are able to return into the Champions League next season. Simples. Let's keep it simple, and we move forward. So the thing about it is that for example, we did not finish in the European places last season. We got into Europe by virtue of our FA Cup win, meaning that for the management or for the board, the goal is to get in by any means. So as long as you can continuously replicate for me, I'll speak for me.
You're changing.
As long as
So
I'm not changing. Wait,
no,
let
let
me
me pick
finish.
you up. No, wait,
No,
wait,
let
I won't
me
allow you
finish.
because
But you need to let me
I will
finish.
forget. No,
As
you do
long-
that
no,
also. No,
But
you do that also. You do
I
that
also
also. Just
I also have to speak.
accept this one.
I'm not accepting this one. As long
I mustn't
so when
forget
people say you're changing, sometimes when you have conversations, two people are on opposite sides, so that you can have concord or agreement. Sometimes you refine the argument so that
Okay.
both parties can come to an agreement. And I'm saying, you know what? You got into the Europe last season because of the FA Cup, not because of your league position, and that was acceptable. Yeah, but sorry, he promised us the Champions League in 3 seasons, so he's going to die by his words. And then you are saying, okay, now by hook or crook, you get to the Champions League by winning the Europa League. By whatever it takes, make sure that next season you replicate the achievements of getting back into the Champions League. And as long as you are getting the Champions League every season, all is well. All is well at the Emirates.
So the point I wanted to make was your point. So you came into the team, you did not get into European spaces, right? European League places, right? You won the Cup, FA Cup. The bar is now higher. The bar is that you need to be back in that European places. Now you've gone to Europa Cup, right? Europa League, right? You need to be in that space. Fortunately or unfortunately, you are going to
You
miss
need
out.
to be in
Wait,
the
let me finish.
Champions League.
You need to be in Champions League, and ideally, the point would be that you should not go lower than your current league position, because you cannot tell me at the start of the season when they were setting the target, they told Ateta,
I don't
don't
know.
worry.
I don't know the target.
It's clear. You don't. Nobody needs to know. Arsenal Football Club is Arsenal Football Club, and there's nobody in that boardroom that will tell Ateta this season that you need to be poorer than that. They will not set at least. The minimum is that at least you need to be better league position wise than what you did last season and to be in Europe, right? Now, like I mentioned, let me finish. Don't say not necessary. This is a fact. These are
No,
facts.
it's not a fact. It's not a fact.
It's a fact. So why is it
not a
Arsenal
fact.
Football Club? Why will you be
Because
spending millions? No, it's a fact.
teams that finished 5th but got into the Champions League because they won the Champions League, and
You've
then
not
some
gotten-
unlucky
that's not the
team.
point. That's not the
It's
point.
still the point. Some unlucky team missed out, even though they were better in the league, because some other team won some cup, won the Champions League, and
Fifth
then
position is not the Champions League position. So anytime you're in fifth,
But when
you belong
Liverpool
to the-
finished 5th, They
It's
won.
still not
they,
a, it's the fifth
but they
position
got into
by
the
default.
Champions League, which is
Leave
goal.
that's not abnormally. That's not abnormally. That's not the right thing.
No, but
The right thing is that first four. No, see, if you're in the fifth position, you can
There
only
are
be
two
praying
roads.
for miracle.
There are
No,
two
don't say
roads
two
into the
roads.
Champions League.
The road is
There
very
are
simple.
two. The road is
Be
the road.
the
There are
first
two
four.
routes. No, there are two routes into the Champions League. In fact, there are three routes into the Champions League. Number one, by virtue of your league position. Number two, you win the Champions League. Number three, you win the. In fact, you can be in the Champions League, fall back to the Europa League, finish ninth, win the Europa League, and get back in the Champions League. So actually, there are multiple routes into
You
getting
take
into the
away the
Champions
person
League.
in the first four. So now your own role now. So for example, you've decided to go through Europa routes. Will that your Champions League position affect the first four position?
Say that again.
So I'm saying the question is that now Arsenal has come fourth, right? Liverpool, for one reason or the other, they crashed out of Champions League. They entered Europa, and then they finished ninth, but they won the Europa. Now they're in Champions League. Will they remove Arsenal slots?
I don't know what the rules are. I know they changed the rules. So
No,
whatever the
they're
rules
not.
are, wait, let me finish. Whatever the rules apply, I think they would allow a fifth team and they will take away, they will either allow a fifth team and take away country protection, or I think they will allow a fifth team and take away country
Victor,
protection.
that's
We
my
can check
point.
that.
Yeah, the point is clear. The point is that you don't need to wait for other teams' miracles or whatever. Do your own bit. Your own bit is
And
being
I'm,
the first
and I'm
one.
saying
Anyway,
right
let me
now,
go back to no. You're even taking away my
no,
argument.
you
My
said
argument. No,
do
don't
your
worry about
bit.
it.
And right now, the bit we need to do is win the Europa
It's
League
fine.
so
Let me
we
just go
can
back
get
to my
into the
argument before I
Champions League.
forget. My argument was this. You made a point that, okay, it's clear that he came eighth in the first season and he got to Europe by FA Cup, not by the league position. Fine. And I'm saying that going to the next season, there's nobody in that boardroom, it's a hill I'm going to die on, that will tell you Ateta it's fine to be ninth this season. Nobody. There's
I never
nobody.
said nobody will say it is fine.
This is an Arsenal Football Club. There's
I
nobody
never
that will
said
say
nobody.
no.
I never said
I'm just
anybody
telling
will be
you.
fine.
You said we don't know, and I'm saying there's no need to say we don't know.
I
This is
didn't
fact.
say. I didn't
You
say
said we don't
anybody
know.
will tell you. No. You said we don't. I said we don't know the targets that were set.
I'm just telling you that
However,
yes, I've told you the minimum targets would be that at least you need to improve on your last position, least position, because
and I
it is
said I don't
unacceptable.
know. And I said I don't know about the specific.
You said we don't know.
targets.
You used the word we.
Do you know the specific targets he was
I
given?
know that
What
the
is it?
targets
Please
cannot
show
be
me.
wait.
No. You know. So what's it in your view? The target will be to improve on your league position. However,
It's
you do not
standard.
have. Hold on, no, it's not standard. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
standard.
It's not
It's
standard.
standard. That is why it's Arsenal
Because
Football
when you
Club.
have
Because
when you have multiple routes, to one destination, for example, you might fail on your in the primary route, but because you have the option to go to another
don't
route.
talk
It's
about failure. When you're
acceptable.
setting the targets, you are not talking about failure at that point in time. You are
I'm not talking
aspiring
about
what you
target
want to
setting.
do.
I'm talking about
So
when you
that's
are
what I'm
praising
talking about.
performance.
I
When you
was
are
talking about
praising
target.
performance.
No, I was talking about target
We've
setting.
moved
No.
target setting.
I'm
Which
talking
is
about
why
target
which is
setting.
why I'm saying that
No,
we do not
Victor, Victor,
about the
no,
specific
Victor,
target set.
no,
However,
Victor,
we do know
Victor,
that the
I'm making a
expectation
point.
is to be in the Champions League.
Victor, I'm
That's
making
a
a
general
point.
expectation.
I'm making a point and you interrupted me. And I told you my point is about when they were setting the targets. And I'll repeat what I'm saying. You mentioned that this guy came in the first season, got it to steady the ship, fine, and got into European places through FA Cup. Great, fine. And you say moving to the second season, I'm telling you that in that boardroom, there's nobody, quote me anyway, there's nobody in that boardroom that would set an expectation that will be lower than 8 for Arteta this season. There's nobody. Because even that 8 last season was unacceptable for Arsenal standards. This is a fact. This they don't need to even argue this one, right? So that's the one point. And the second point is that so if you say, okay, in addition to that target, is that oh, you should also get back into Champions League football. Great. So now we agree that the first target he has failed it. Now he has opportunity to meet the second target, which is to get back to Champions League football. Fine. And now I'm saying now moving on to next season. Now because now it's now in Champions League, the bar is now so high that the only target you can have is first four. Because anything out of first four will not return you to Champions League football, essentially, right? So I'm not saying that. Look at the trend. This is someone that the first season came through outside the the league place, right? Second season, you set a target to go back to Europe and also meet a particular league position. You already failed the league position. Now we are now setting a far higher target for this person now in terms of league position, which he has consistently failed twice. Does that make logical sense?
But don't you see that you are giving don't you see that you've given, when you do that, because you've given the manager so much more, such a long rope to pull, you need to even make it harder so that if he fails, then it is clear that you're giving him enough time to succeed.
Make it harder.
All I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is this. If you've shown the right level of competence to succeed to bring a European title to the club, then it would mean that you have the capacity to push that on into improving your league position. That's what I'm saying.
No, it doesn't work because we can see
but it does, which is why which is why I said at the start of the season, because of how we finished last season, my expectation was that we would have a top 4 or top 6 finish. But unfortunately, for one reason or that, it doesn't look apparent. Although mathematically it is still possible. However, I don't feel that will happen. What I'm saying is that if you've shown that, okay, you can win something as significant as the Europa League against the Champions League, then perhaps you have it in you to push on, to drive your team to perform
because
better.
These are essentially two different competitions. And we've seen it clearly that the fact that you can win in a cup competition is different from the league. The league requires you to be consistent.
What do you do with a manager? What do you do with a manager that wins you trophies every season? Because
you sack them if they don't. Hold on. You sack them.
You sack them. Wait a minute. Let's go back. We went 9 years without winning.
That was when.
One second. Let me make this point. We went 9 years without winning, and we're like, you know what? Forget this Champions League. Let's just win something, even if it is the League Cup. So you're telling me now that you have a manager that every season he wins a trophy and you sack him? Oh my goodness, I'm surprised.
Why not? If we are languishing 10th in the league, what are you talking about?
Then I don't think I can't have this argument because then. So
why did we sack Arsene Wenger? Why did we sack Arsene Wenger?
You said that it was the fans. It was the fans. Now you said it. There was the fans' pressure. I said I disagree.
Okay, so why did we?
You said it was the fans.
Yes, I still insist on that. I disagreed. So why did you?
I disagreed.
Great. So why did the fans? Okay, great. Okay, let's say they were not the one that caused it, but obviously they were not happy. Why were the fans not happy?
You tell me. I wasn't
because
happy.
We're not doing well in the league. Well, a lot of fans were not happy. It's clear. It's a clear thing. There's no need to.
Some fans were happy.
Some fans will definitely be happy. That's how it is. The same way some people like Buhari.
Okay, so let's establish the baseline and end this particular one. You will sack a manager. Listen, not a manager that won a trophy one season, the next season didn't win a trophy. A manager that wins trophies, he won you trophies in back-to-back season. The third season, you sack him before it starts. I don't think that's fair.
So
I don't think that's been rational.
Why did Di Matteo? Why did they sack Di Matteo?
That's Chelsea. I don't know how they operate.
Do we aspire to be at the level at Chelsea?
I don't aspire to be like Chelsea. You know, this is Arsenal. I don't.
No. Not be like. It's the level. No. Wait, I'm not saying be like Chelsea. Do you aspire to be at the level Chelsea is?
What level?
Champions League holder.
They're
Premier League holder.
They're a more successful club in Europe. They are more
in the past
successful
10-15 years. They are more successful than Arsenal.
Let me finish. They are a more successful club in Europe historically. They have been. Excuse me. They've been more successful in the league in the past few seasons. That's good. We've still been historically more successful than them when you look at the entire history of the club. So no, I will not aspire to be like Chelsea. However, I believe that Arsenal are a bigger club than Chelsea. So we can even do better. However, let me make my point. I have my views. I know the clubs I consider bigger than Arsenal. Liverpool.
I'm not even talking about bigger. Nobody's talking about bigger.
Let me. If you're talking about clubs that I want Arsenal to aspire to, Liverpool, Manchester United, sadly, Real Madrid, Barcelona. Those are the clubs I aspire to. But Chelsea, no, I don't
Do you
aspire to
want
be
to
like
aspire
Chelsea.
to be at the level Chelsea is?
I don't aspire to be at the level of Chelsea. That's my view.
Okay, great. So the point is, I will repeat again, the league position is the most fundamental way to actually measure how good your team is. And that is why consistently you find managers winning trophies and being fired even for winning cup trophies. Again,
Arsene Wenger was consistently finishing in the top 4. He
it
finished
wasn't
out of
winning
the
the
top.
league. It
Can I
wasn't winning
finish?
the league.
Can I? I'm just piggybacking on the point you said. The league position is the best metric. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. The league position, the league table doesn't lie. Arsene Wenger consistently finished in the top 4, except for his last 2 seasons, where he finished, I believe, was it fifth and sixth in his last 2 seasons, and it was clear that he was failing. So now, and then the league position, the fans you talk about say it wasn't good enough. We don't want this league position. We want trophies. Now you have a guy who in his first half season gave you 2 trophies.
Which trophy? Do not count Community Shield. No. That's not
it's
that is
so
not a trophy.
let me respond to that. The Community Shield is recognized by UEFA as a major national Super League title. So it is considered. I don't make up the rules. It's considered by UEFA as a major Super League title, a major Super Cup competition. Okay, it's considered. That is there. I didn't make up the rules. I didn't make up the rules. So
I hear you.
So you said no. We want to win trophies.
But FA Cup. So this FA Cup you're talking about. So you made the point yourself. Arsene Wenger consistently was in top 4, and the moment he slipped to 5th, 6th, he was gone, because it's clear that the league is a good way to actually measure performance. And you also say it consistently. If you had won 1 or 2 or 3 league titles within that time, do you think we won't still have Arsene Wenger around now? We will, because first winning that league is trophy. When people say they want trophy, look at this man's career. Look at it clearly. He started 96, 1997. This guy never won Champions League, but people still did not complain, right? People were not complaining. If he continuously win the Premier League trophy, in fact, people
so
just
you know what we got more complaints after we got more complaints. I think this is funny. We got more complaints about the lack of trophies when we after the 9 years than we got in the 9 years. Funny enough, maybe because we tasted success. You should say maybe the fact that we were not pushing on
the trophy they were talking about is the league. Let's be clear. No, people are clear about this thing.
Let's be objective. We went 9 years without winning anything. We didn't win a single thing.
Yes, you even lost the League Cup.
We didn't win a single thing. And the thing was, so the idea was first win a trophy, win anything, then build on that success. So if you want to say, wait, hold on. If you want to say, after winning the FA Cups in 2014, 2016, and 2017, we didn't build on that, I'll say yes, valid point, no objection. If you had said that, or you wish to say that, I'll say no objection. We did not build on that because it's expected.
So what is building?
Let me finish. It's expected that when you win a domestic trophy, these players, a lot of them are winning trophies for the first time. They've tasted success. They've seen the joy and pride it brings to them and their family, and then they are motivated.
Wait,
hold on. And then they are motivated to push on into the league to see how to win the league. We didn't build on those trophies that Wenger, those FA Cups, sadly, and then he had to go. And now we're in a position where we seem to have got the hang of mastering, in quotes, this FA Cup. Now, European success, elusive European success, yet to come. You're telling me that if this manager delivers a European trophy, you will still be displeased?
I've told you why I'm going to be displeased. If this manager wins Europa Cup and ends up being 10th, 12th in the league, it's clear it's you are like your words, like you said the first time I'm going to hear you talk, you said papering over the cracks. That is what you are doing, because it's clear that this
But
person
the
cannot
cracks
run
but the
consistently,
cracks have been
cannot do the
papered
work
over.
consistently.
So
So you still want to continue that way?
as long as
That's why okay,
as
yeah,
long as
okay.
as long as the cracks keep being papered over, at some
So we
point
should
the
just continue
cracks,
that way. Let's just continue
if
that way.
you as long as the cracks keep
Let's
being
just
papered
continue that
over,
way.
you don't have you don't have a moral right, in quotes, to
Oh, so
say
it's the moral right now, but we should just continue doing that. Then that's fine with you.
in term, because you don't want, number one, you won't have a moral right. Number two, he'll have it back that he's achieved this. He has tangible results, stuff you can hold on to. When you go into the museum, you'd see the trophy. It said, these are the trophies Arteta won. And you can say, okay, yes, he's achieved this. He has the capacity to do more. But when you now say, you know what, that capacity we thought you had, you are not delivering on this, then you can take a decision. But don't write the man off before he runs out of time.
Okay, that's valid. I'm not going to have any discussion around that, but it's clear that that's how you say it. Where I say it is simple. I do think that for us to move ahead in as a football club, we need to be consistent in the league, and that's a much more testament to how we are evolving as a team. If you really care about the future, but if you say yes, let's win Europa, then definitely we've not won it before. Good, great, we've won Europa. Does that mean that we are going to be in top for next season? I don't see that happening, because obviously our league form is nothing to write home about, right? So we need to improve collectively across board. And so the only reason why that will make a good point is, oh, we have 8 games to the end of season. Like you mentioned, Leicester over the last season, they had a consistent run. Yes, we could see the consistent run. That's also, coinciding with the Europa League success. And you can have a good point to say, yeah, let's go on. But I've told you, it's fact that if he wins the Europa League this season, obviously he's not going to get sacked. That's clear. Nobody's going to argue about that. But my point still remains: if this same person that failed your first target league position, the second target league position, now you're even setting a harder target.
We don't know that the target was league position. We don't know that. So let's not speculate on what we don't know. What
No,
we
there's no
do
need to
know
have
is
this
that there's an
discussion with you,
expectation.
because it's obvious
No,
that
no, no.
it's
You are
obvious.
quoting it as
It's
facts.
obvious.
No, you are quoting it as
It's
facts.
obvious.
You are
It's
quoting
just
it
like,
as facts.
this way. The way this thing is like.
No, but you're quoting this league position thing as facts. We
See,
don't
I
have
did not
that
tell you the
information,
exact
so we
league
cannot
position.
decide.
See, we
That's
don't
the
have
point.
the
The
exact
concept
information.
of league position. No, the
See,
concept of a league position.
it's
We
just
don't
like
have
it's just like
that
having
information.
it's just like having any organization, right? Or having any organization, anything that is even in secret, right? Whether it's a governmental organization or whatever it is, they already set down minimum expectations. You cannot tell me in an Arsenal Football Club, a club that is one of the biggest in Europe, in England, they're telling me that we don't have minimum expectations as to league positions. These are facts. There's no need to even go back anywhere
Okay,
and say,
let me say something funny. I remember in 2010 they asked Wenger, I think it's 2011, what is your expectation for the season? And he said it's the same expectation I have every season. I want to win the league.
Yeah. So, yeah, what's the point? I don't get where you're coming from.
That is his personal expectation. Sometimes
So, what
your
is the
personal
board's
expectation,
expectation?
we don't know. I'm saying
So,
as Wenger
what?
was asked his and he said his. What I do know as facts is that as one of I don't have the time to look for the year, was as one of the AGMs, Peter Hillwood categorically said that the expectation of the board is that in every 5-year stretch, yes, I know that the expectation of the board is that in every 5-year stretch, 2 years in those 5 years, we will not be in the Champions League. 3 years in the 5 years, we will be Champions League. It was categorically said. That is where I'm hinging that on. So on their own, they have certain expectation. But then what is a general expectation? That we want to be in Europe first, but then we need that Champions League revenue, because like someone mentioned earlier, we have players on Champions League wages.
To you, let me ask this question. When we're about setting out this season, to you, so there were 2 ways to get into Europe, right? What do you think was going to be the first choice?
my prior, my
No, not you. No, that's not the question. As in, at the start of this season now, when the board, everybody is meeting to start.
I wasn't there, so I don't know, and
No,
I don't
okay.
speculate. I don't speculate
Okay,
on
great.
things I have no control
You
over.
don't speculate. Great. So to you, at the start of the season, what was the at the start of the season, right? After, what was the realistic way for us to get back to Europe this season
Europa League.
that we lost last year?
No. You asked me for this year, so you asked me the
So
realistic
your
way.
one, you felt that was to
I
win
believe I believe
that we have
that.
never won before.
Can I finish? I believe that the teams in the Europa League are at the same level that of teams that we can defeat. You know, last season our knockouts from our elimination from the Europa League, I thought it was an aberration. I thought it was a bit of bad luck, a bit of poor tactics, and a bit of lack of focus on the team. But consistently, I've always said the only teams that will prove a threat to us in the Champions League would be teams from England and a team like Atletico or maybe a Sevilla, who typically will finish third in their group and drop down into the Europa League and win the Europa League and then get into Europe and get into the Champions League. Those are the only kind of teams. So the year we got to the semi-final, got knocked out by Atletico. Once they were finished third in their group, my prayer was, let's just get Atletico in the first round and get it over with, because they are the only team that can stop Arsenal. And unfortunately, we didn't get into the semi-final and we got knocked out. We got to the final the next year and we played the only team that was capable of beating us. We've probably just been unfortunate to be placed against the only teams that were strong enough to beat us. Last season against Olympiacos was disastrous. We did the business in the first leg. The second leg was just rubbish. I don't know what the team was on about there, but then we have a chance to redeem ourselves. And for now, looking at the teams that are left, I don't see it any team that poses a serious threat to us if we play at the level that we can play based on the quality that we have. You understand? The Europa League. 1 second. Come on now. Come on.
Why would you say come on? Why did you say come on?
I'm just going to put it out there and say I don't think that Man United will beat Arsenal over 2 legs if Arsenal play our game the way
if they also played their own game to the way
irrespective of the heights. So
we are better than Man U.
1 second. I already said that I already said that. I said the only teams that will pose a threat to Arsenal are teams from England or the kind of teams I mentioned from Spain, the Atleticos, the.
So what about Villarreal?
I was coming to that. Only those types of teams, and you'd rather play them in the final. But other than that, but based on what I have seen this season, irrespective of our league position, it's Manchester United, and so far Arteta has shown that he's able to handle this Manchester United team. Even
how many games has he won against them?
You are the stats guy.
No, you don't prove any point. No, I don't know.
I saw the games. I saw the results. You come with the stats and tell me. You know, I don't want to pull the stats out.
So this is it, right?
Someone can wait. 1 second. Someone can help us. Someone can help us win. So I know we won at Old Trafford and we won at home. Maybe there was a draw there and we lost one. I don't know the number, but I do know that against United we've been successful. Heck, they had their best players on. I believe they had Bruno. They had Pogba. What else? So let's put that aside. You can also say, okay, on the European night, the atmosphere is different, blah blah. There are no fans in the stadium, but we'll see. Yes, we don't play well against English team in Europe. Historically, that's true. But hey, this is. I'm actually not. I'll probably be more pensive against a Spanish team than a Manchester United, and hopefully we avoid them all through the draw and they get a horrible draw and they get knocked out.
No, we are meeting Villarreal in the semi-final. It's already done. If we win,
that's if Villarreal is still in the competition. Like I said, I just take things one game. I just want to take it one game at a time.
Yeah, the real question that brought us here was at the start of the season, you felt that the best way for us to Champions League was the true Europa route, which is valid. It's totally okay. I agree with that points, it's your choice. But I'm saying that in addition to that, clearly there was a minimum set expectation for
Okay,
Arteta.
so
We
let
don't know
me
what
let
it
me
is,
let me
but
explain.
it's very
I
clear.
want my
Yeah,
hope
goals.
was that we will finish in the top 4 or top 6. However, as a route to Europe, I felt the easiest way was via the Europa League. I
So if you think,
my view, one second, my view is that the Europa League route is easier than the league route, and so far I seem to have been proved right.
great, and the point still remains that there was a minimum set expectation. We don't have to be in the room to know that. And obviously, the minimum set expectation for Arsenal Football Club in the league cannot be less than 8 that we made last season. So that's you
As
don't
again, I'll say it.
that's this
I
is
don't
what
know
is you
because
don't need to
I don't
know.
have the
Just like you
evidence,
don't need
right?
to
I don't
know
have to,
you
which
don't
is
need to
why I
know
can't agree.
whether there's going to be sun tomorrow. There's going to be
Oh,
sun. There's going
I'll
to be
know. I'll check the weather forecast. There's signs for that.
there's also science for this thing I'm talking about by looking at
No,
the
but this is
historical. No,
some.
no, there's
No, no, it's
science
not
also
about
for this.
historical. The
No, no,
club, the only time the club has spoken on expectations is the example I gave. 3 years out of 5 years, we
they
want
don't
to be
need
in
to
the Champions
tell
League.
you
No,
that.
but I'm
They
saying
don't need
that
to
they
tell you that.
actually did say, which is the
And
only thing I can quote. Any other
so the
thing, I don't have the information.
so 3 times out of the 5 times
You
they will
can
have
you can modify it and say you can
so does that
modify it
mean
and
that
say
they
one
will be
second.
10th?
You can modify it and say the expectations of the majority of the fans is that we
Don't
will
say
finish.
expectations. The board, the executive, the stakeholders, they do
Please,
have
if
expectations.
you
They have
have a copy
expectations.
of the expectations document, please share it.
Okay,
I work with numbers and I deal with hard facts. So give me
okay.
the
No, it's fine.
facts
It's
and then
fine.
I'll.
No, it's okay. There's no point arguing on that part, but it's a clear thing. You don't have an organization without a set expectation. You don't really need to know the fact, but
There
there's
are
a
expectations, but we don't know what the
minimum.
expectations are.
The
So
expectations for
we
Arsenal
shouldn't
Football Club
we shouldn't
cannot
speculate on
be.
what we
No,
don't
no, no.
know.
It's not speculation. Just
But
like
you
the
are
way.
speculating.
No, no, it's not speculation. This is not speculation.
It's called a speculation if it's not backed with hard facts or evidence.
Okay, no problem. It's fine. There's no need to have that discussion because it's clear that to you, of course, Arsenal is just running on free will. Wake up any day, be at the end of the day. You can even come 17th. Nobody's going to
I didn't say
bat an eye.
that.
No, that's what you essentially are saying.
No,
That's
I'm not
what you're
saying
saying.
that. For all you know, the expectations could be that we should finish in the top 2, but we don't know because it's not published. So I won't
Are you
want us to
listening to
base.
me? Are
I'm
you
listening
listening
to,
to
and I'm saying
my
that
position is clear. My position is clear. Whatever the expectation is, right? That's the first thing I said. Whatever the expectation is, it cannot be less than 8.
And I'm
That's
saying
the fact.
you can't back, if you were to take this argument to court, you can't back it up because it's not based on anything other than your view or your perception as a supporter. That's the
No,
only thing. No, no.
it's based on the previous expectations
It's
Arsenal
not
have
based on
set.
anything because all you'll be asked to say, okay, so how can you prove? Okay, prove it.
Yeah, we're going to look at the Arsenal, the AGMs and all those things that we do. They say it in AGMs. They do say it when they have all these annual general meetings and these farm
Okay,
meetings. They say
please.
it. It's clear. If I have time, I'll put it up for you. How will you say
So
Arsenal as a
you
club?
have Arsene Wenger's performance contract, yeah,
What
or
are you saying? What
Arteta's
am I
one.
saying? What are we saying? What are you saying? Am I talking about the performance contract now? I'm saying that I've not said that if you don't meet that target, that means you are going to be. I'm just saying Arsenal as a club, just like
Okay,
anybody, you have vision.
I don't think you are
You are going
following.
to.
Yeah, I don't think you're following my point. So
Okay.
let's just rest. You're not following the point.
Okay. No problem.
Cool.
This has been a very, very fun conversation. It looks like we even went over the time limit,
Yeah, we did.
which is cool. Which is cool. That's just an evidence of the fact that it was a very good conversation. So I think we can end it here if you guys don't have any. I'm glad we were able to at
Yeah.
least agree on something that there's a process. So I guess we'll see whether it's a good process or it's not a good process. But let's stay with the working theory of the fact that we have a process for now. So I want to say thank you to Bolaji, thank you to Victor, the Green Guna.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining, and thank you for sharing your thoughts and having a very civil conversation, civil debate on the topic. So thank you guys. We're gonna leave it here for now. People process, like Victor said, and we'll see where we go. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Bolaji.
Hey,
That's fun.
cheers, guys.
All right,
Cheers.
guys.
Bye.